Live, right? Meow. Oh, yeah. There it is. It is up, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? How are we doing? How's your hearts? How's your minds? How's your bodies and your time? How's your lemons and your limes? This is for justice. This is for crime. What's this button? Engage your audience. Members only live stream. It's new. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I would ever do a members only live stream, honestly. I don't think I have a big enough stream. You have indigestion, but you're good. Okay, just, yeah, get lots of water in you. Dilute the acid. Can you talk about why Mr. Ballin canceled your Twisted history? Well, they found the thousands of bodies I had hidden in my shed, so I was like, awkward. And they're like, Joel, you haven't even disposed of these properly. Am I enjoying the rain? Yeah, it's been nice, dude. Like when I went to Baltimore to have to the Baltimore football game, I came back and it was like raining. I was like, finally, bro, we've been in a drought, baby. I was so sad to hear it was canceled this morning. I was listening every Wednesday morning. I know, dude, it's unfortunate. You know, sometimes things are tough. What do I think about Destiny's reaction to Charlie Kirk's shooting? Well, I'll be honest, I don't know Destiny's reaction to it. But I can only assume it probably was not very nice. So Destiny has always kind of had, I remember his reaction to the attempted assassination, you know, prior to the election on Trump and stuff, and he seemed to be kind of cheering and jeering about people getting shot in the audience and dying, and I don't know, I can only assume he has some pretty severe mental health issues, and it's certainly stuff that I don't think should be said. It's stuff I don't agree on, you know what I mean? Did I enjoy the Twisted History podcast? I did, yeah. It was awesome. It was kind of a mixture of like, clearly there was some like restructuring over with like Wandery and all that kind of stuff with different subsidiary programs. So like that whole spiel. I mean, I don't really know a whole lot. And then you know, just some differences on contract that we could, you know, we began production, I guess, long before contract kind of like really found its way, and unfortunately couldn't come to a kind of agreement there. So it's all good. Sometimes you have differences. It doesn't mean I don't love them. I love those guys. They're fucking awesome. Just it just didn't we just didn't kind of mesh in that regard. Shorter uploads with actual true stories would be nice. Frank, dude, what's up, bro? It's good to see you. How are you? I think I gotta keep the uploads on the videos probably like 45 minutes to an hour. It seems to be what people are into. Is my other channel still going? Yeah. I still got. There's actually a new video out right now for Saturn Soul. Let me actually find that. Oh, here it is.
Having overstayed line.
Let me share that. That's a good point. New true crime video. I'll just pin that so you can see it. But yeah, we'll promote that tomorrow, and we're still trying to figure out like kind of like titles and thumbnail kind of like approach to really, because I mean, like the last one getting over 100,000 views is crazy. What's wrong with my voice is something. Oh, does it sound weird or? I am a little hoarse from screaming at the Baltimore Ravens game I went to on Monday. Sounds like I need a cough. Yeah, it's like I don't even know. It's like a weird mixture of like being a little bit like hoarse, but also a tad like I'm not sick, but yeah, definitely a bit hoarse. Thomas, thank you for the 10. You're the best. You're the best, Thomas. Good to see you, bro. Appreciate you. Love you. Good to see you. I work at a shelter, and there's a cat that was shattered by a car, and now is doing great. Special needs. I'm going to adopt her and name her Hedy Lamar after that episode. Let's go, dude. That's awesome. How's my gym doing? Yeah, we had some restructuring there, and we're really digging into the finances, finding out a lot of information that's been a little bit shocking to me. I'll be honest with you. But what's life without a challenge? You know what I'm saying? We were born to do this. Been listening for like 8 years, dude. Back since the original Pizza Delivery Stories. Hasn't changed a bit from originally. Got me hooked. Thanks, bro. I'm trying to stay consistent, And thank you for sticking with me. 8 years that's a whole lifetime, isn't it? That's crazy. We should record Halloween scary stories, like really scary stories. We got Halloween stuff planned. October 1st. Spooky season begins. I mean, it might be already began for some people. Full grown pizza. Wort. I got quite a lot of women in here. It's funny, like the audience actually demographics is 50-50. Like maybe men don't say as much stuff or aren't as vocal online, but the watch demographics are 50-50, which is interesting. Spooky season year round. That's true. It's because I'm cute. Thank you. How early do I start listening to holiday music? Well, honestly, October 1st, I'm like down to get right into Nightmare Before Christmas shit. And by that, I mean lighting bags of dog shit on people's porches, but not ringing their doorbell, just letting it burn till their whole house burns down. Watch one of your other videos the other week, any way lesser ads. Oh, and way lesser ads. That's good. Yeah, I had to like make some major changes and for the ads because there was just way too much. It was hurting the channel by basically 1 million views. Crazy. What's up, Lux? Mr. Chat Joel, looking forward to the new content. I broke my L1 and L2 in a car wreck. Dude, I'm sorry to hear that. That's gonna be tough, but once you get back into it, I don't know if you like lift weights or anything like that, but there's this one let's see, recovery for spine injury, posterior exercise, pendulum. It's like a pendulum thing. Let's see. But basically it's almost like a hamstring style like exercise, but you're like activating the posterior. It's going to be obviously a while, but until you get to that point. But I feel like I've heard people basically like recovering from those injuries takes some time, but then you got to strengthen the muscles around it. Spinal fusion, L1, S1, never going to be the same. Yeah, man, that's tough. That is fucking tough, especially once they do surgery. I'm so sorry to hear that, though. Not gonna lie, I do like some Xmas music, even though I stopped celebrating Xmas, started celebrating Yule. What's Yule? Is that some pagan shit? We're gonna sick the Inquisition upon thee. Miss you Sunday, made it there. Yeah, we accidentally uploaded Sunday's uploaded day early. I don't know how we fucked that up, but hey, there it is. Celtic pagan holiday. Okay, nice. Do you still get presents? Do you still get an Xbox 360? Wise twist of history over it. Well, Mr. Ballin beat me in a game of racquetball, and I did not take it well, unfortunately. The Xbox 6-7. Do you like doing made out-of-body experience stories? I died and remember. Those are pretty wild. How am I? I'm good, honestly. How are you guys? What's new? Did I tell you I saw the movie Weapons? I actually saw a horror movie. Is everyone taking their Tylenol? People are insane in the membrane. Yeah, I was looking up like what the reference was for that, and it was like some sort of... It was a 47 study meta-analysis showing a correlation between prenatal usage, like early developmental period usage of Tylenol and the outcome of the fetus. But I don't know, like I don't really see the correlation, like unless they can like analyze exactly what compound would cause any sort of ADHD or autism and that kind of thing. It just didn't seem, I guess, conclusive enough for me to like really take it as seriously as they want to. What did I think of Weapons? I'll be honest with you, I really, really, really liked Weapons. It was like a mystery, right? And I love mysteries. And it was fun. It was awesome. Do I make a living off YouTube podcasts? Yes, I do. Thank you. Dr. Mike made a video about that. Yeah, what did Dr. Mike have to say? Correlation does not mean causation. I agree. I feel like I had to dig more into I would have to dig into the individual studies to see what their determination would be, because they said that there's a connection, but I'm like, there's so many people that take Tylenol. It's like everybody in the entire population, right? And especially in the female population, to like create a direct connection, I feel like it's missing some, it's almost like a logical fallacy in a little bit of a way, but I'm not sure. Of all of the satellite channels, yours was the best. I don't even enjoy as other creator voices. Well, it was just, it's just contractual. Things get restructured. It happens all the time. I hold there's no problem. It's no issue. I love everything they're doing over there. And, we have a good relationship and everything's peachy keen, honestly. He thought Weapons was a lot of fun. I did too. I thought it was just interesting. It wasn't like in your face, shit your pants horror. It was just like interesting. And I like the characters. I just liked it. Now I have heard about Tylenol being like hepatotoxic, like having issues on the liver. But yeah, I'm a little stuffed up. Yeah. What tree was that in Weapons that they used to like do voodoo? Oh shoot, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. You saw Him this past weekend. It was interesting. What was that about? Oh, that was the football one that was produced by Jordan Peele, but not directed by Jordan Peele or written. Which, yeah, I don't know. The trailer looked kind of like ass, I'll be honest with you. It just looked boring. Did they even go out on an actual football field? iShowSpeed showed up in downtown PDX. It was crazy. Where's that at? I'm broken, but so many people just said me too. Got my loves. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all go through it, Tylenol has also been considered the only safe over-the-counter painkiller for pregnant women for ages. So it's like, obviously they're going to find more than any other similar drugs no matter what. Yeah, I don't really think it's intelligent for like a president administration to like be in direct combatants with like the FDA, if you know what I'm saying. Even though, I don't know. Reading the study, it just didn't make much sense. How did I start my podcast? Yeah, I don't know. I just was reading on YouTube, and then after like 2 years of doing YouTube, it transferred over to RFK just pulling shit out of his ass. I mean, a 47 study meta-analysis, which they were basing it off that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I do want to get information at least remotely on direction here. Like, it was a Harvard professor, and he did a meta-analysis on 47 studies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't 47 studies not sound like a lot? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't sound like a lot of studies to do a meta-analysis on. I could be completely incorrect. I mean, I could see, but then at the same time, like, the correlation from the usage of that. Now, if there was some way that you could study the usage in like a weird microscopic sense, I guess, of like the development of the fetus while, using acetaminophen, 47 swallowed in the college classroom. Well, the question more is just like, what is normal for a meta-analysis? I don't really know. Yeah, I only want autism at nighttime. My grandson's autistic, and the world was left in their hands to be okay, 1,000% better off than what we're doing. Yeah, I have some friends with autistic children, and they're very, very sweet. Obviously there's quite a bit of struggles, but there's a lot of strength there for sure. What's up, Luca? All right, friends, thanks for being here. Click like, click share, click a button. We're going to be reading some Cabin in the Woods stories. 200 is minimum, but I haven't studied research ethics for over a decade. Yeah, I guess I could look it up, probably, right? On a random note, I made a music video for my song Fame. Don't feel obligated to watch it, just something new, spooky Halloween vibes, and I started to work it. Yeah, let's go listen to it. You guys want to go listen to Zella's new song real quick before we, at least just a minute or two? She's got to capture our ADHD brains, and then we will kick off the reading, and I'll let you know what I think. Some old-time footage. Uh-oh, she's seeing something. Oh yeah, we did listen to this song before, didn't we? But you made a music video, that's awesome. Marilyn Manson. The song's called Fame, Zella. I can link it in the chat too, as long as I don't get copywritten. The music for the podcast, Enect makes it. Simon, he's linked in all the videos. Is this on SoundCloud? I'm not sure. Christina, welcome to the Butterstock Cult. Thank you. It is on SoundCloud. Nice. Hell yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love the mix of the old-time footage. Where did you get the footage? Official music video scene written and edited direct by Zella Colt. Thank you. Nice. Christina, welcome again to the Butterstock Cult. And Sarah Wentz, thank you for the 5. Build a nice community. Thanks, bro. Everybody is quite nice, so I appreciate that. I mean, everybody's got different walks of life, different ideas. As long as we present them in a respectful way, I think that's, usually something to try to attain. That song, again, was Fame by Zella. Soon to be popping off worldwide. Does it ever bother you to read all these stories? I guess the world is a dark place, and I've come to terms with that. What's up, Kathy? Silent horror film Eerie Tales, 1919. That's awesome. So back in the late 70s, when I was still in middle school, my mom and dad went through a really nasty divorce. When Dad disappeared for a week, Mom tried to reassure me and my brother by saying that he was on a work trip. But when he came home, they spent the next couple of days arguing before he left for good. Now, he didn't disappear or anything. He moved up to Crescent City into a nice house by the harbor. But since he didn't fight for custody, we kind of got this sense that he just wasn't interested in being a dad anymore. The most he ever talked about it was when he called on my 26th birthday. Mom never had a good word to say about him after the divorce, and she said that he was a deadbeat, that he'd gone nuts, and that he was off someplace having a middle of the life crisis. Any special eps cooking for Halloween? Oh yeah, we got some good. Probably gonna have like one Halloween episode every week for all of October. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be freaking sick. Much love from Ireland, been an avid listener for years now. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Let's see what the days fall in October. So we got the first one we might actually get on the 2nd, which is a Thursday. And then the 6th, 13th, and 20th. Oh, we actually might be able to squeak in quite a bit here. So we shall see. You guys already got your decorations up. Pizza delivery stories? I'll have to look around, I'm not sure. Love Saturn Soul. Thanks, sweet. Appreciate you. She said he was a deadbeat, that he'd gone nuts, that he was off someplace having a midlife crisis because he was a selfish, thoughtless a-hole. Dad laughed when I told him that, and he didn't disagree either. He also apologized for being so distant, but explained his life had taken a horrible turn right around the time he and Mom divorced. He said that I might He said I might not understand till I was a dad myself, and that sometimes a man has to do what's right, even if it means sacrificing everything he's worked for. He sounded pretty drunk at the time, though, so I've never really put much thought or faith into anything. He sounded pretty drunk at the time, so I've never really put much thought or faith into what he had to say. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was the last chance that I'd ever get to talk to him. Around 7 months later, Mom called me in the middle of the night. All she said was, "Your father's dead." And then she passed the phone to my brother so he could talk. Dad suffered a heart attack while taking a swim in his backyard pool. No one found him for a couple of days, and Mom had to go identify his body. She came home drunk in a cab, and he had to go pick her up. She came home drunk in a cab and had to go pick her car up the next day. And we held a closed Wait. Did he come drunk? Wait. Did she come home drunk or? Backyard pool, no one found him for a couple of days. Mom had to go identify his body. It says she came home drunk in a cab and had to go pick up her car the next day. Is that related? I don't even know. Goblin mode. Got 88% of my second anatomy and physiology exam. Yes, we'll be updating every few weeks. No, that's awesome. Keep studying hard. That's all you really need to do. Just study till you're confident, you know what I mean? Hey, B, thank you. Anyone here ever properly maintain a hot tub? Is it a pain? I want to so badly, but I don't know if the upkeep will make me regret it. Yeah, I mean, a hot tub is kind of like a pool where you have to put the appropriate amount of shock in and all that kind of stuff. I've had so many friends that have had it, and it is. I mean, it's cool initially, but it quite literally is a pain in the ass, and there's so many things that can go wrong with it. Same with like a pool, you know. I'm Canadian. I'm from Pennsylvania. So we all survived the rapture. We just barely did it. I like rock music. Oh yeah. Thanks for getting my 8 hours of sleep every night, Joel. You're welcome. I got you. Chlorine tablets, that's it. Okay. I don't know. I've just heard some annoying processes with that. She came home drunk in a cab and had to go pick up her car the next day. We held a closed casket funeral for Dad in the week that followed. Then me and my brother helped Mom deal with all the inheritance stuff. Dad did pretty well financially, so we were shocked to learn that he barely had any left when he died. All he had was his car, his house, a few thousand in savings, and one other thing. A property up near Black Marble Mountain, one he had built not long after the divorce. And that was the biggest shock of all, because not even Mom knew that he'd ordered anything. And that was the biggest shock of all, because not even Mom knew that he had anything built, and she knew almost everything that he'd been up to after the divorce. According to the attorney Mom hired, it was a one-room log cabin built on a small plot of land up in Siskiyou. I don't know how to say that shit. Keep inspiring, you guys. I got you, dude. I'll keep being inspirational as shit. Do. Is chat acting weird? I don't know. Siskiyou. Hey Joel, I took a break from watching the Theo Von and Kat Von D episode to check you out in chat. What's up, guys? What's going on? How's Theo doing? Siskiyou is the name of the county. What's up, Paris? Is Twist of History going to be taken up by another studio? I don't know, honestly. I don't think so. As far as I heard, it was like, I don't know, just gonna... I have no idea, honestly. According to the attorney Mom hired, it was a one-room log cabin built on a small plot of land up in Siskiyou County, about 20 miles south of a little town called Happy Camp. We could either have it evaluated and put it on the market along with his house, or the attorney could transfer the deeds and we'd be the proud owner of a cabin we didn't even know existed until just a few minutes before. Mom told the attorney to put the place up for sale, but I asked her not to be so hasty. She argued that there'd been nothing in that cabin but jerky wrappers and empty bottles of booze, but that didn't deter me. I later told her in private that I wanted to see for myself. My brother and I didn't know all that much about what Dad had been up to, and since only one of us gave a crap, it was up to me to go check the place out. Now I drove up in mid-November. Mulleted as to be expected. Nice, dude. Is it actually possible to make enough to live doing this? On YouTube and podcast, yes, for sure. And honestly, the memberships from just YouTube by themselves is really good, so thank you guys for supporting that way. That's a pretty large portion. Who owns Twist of History? I mean, I know it fell under the Ballin Studios thing, but I think everything was like loosely associated with Wandery, but I have no idea, to be honest with you. Can anyone actually own property? Can anyone actually own property? Yeah, anybody. if it's for sale, you can go buy it, or you can buy the land and build your own little thing and just keep it up to code or whatever. As a veteran Marine, PTSD, you've been a huge help. Can't fall asleep without you, but thanks. You're welcome, my friend. Sleep is the key to sanity, and I think I'm proud that I can help someone get some rest. It's forever. What, when you own a property? So like usually what happens when you buy a house is you can't technically afford it with what you have, right? So the property costs X amount. So you take a big loan from a bank or a lender or whatever you want to call it. But to get that loan, you need a down payment on the house, which is usually 10 to 20% of the total cost of the property, right? And then basically you have a payment plan for the remainder of that big loan, which can be spanned out over the course of 15 to 30 years, and that's called your mortgage. And basically you pay like the $1,000, $2,000, or however much your mortgage is monthly back to the bank, which is basically the loan plus interest. And then hopefully by the time 15 or 30 years is up, you own your home outright. You might not own the land underneath it, but it is quite a good thing to invest in. Probably not, I would suggest never investing in commercial property unless you understand it, but yeah, and I guess avoid HOAs because those are a pain in the ass, right? Current house is the 3 I have owned. My last one I built from nothing out of a hayfield. That's sick. Yeah, if you can build your own house, that's got to be an amazing feeling. So in Mexico, once you have bought the property, you don't pay taxes. See, that's nice, yeah. There's a lot of I guess it depends on what state you're in. Like here in Pennsylvania, we got obviously the federal tax, state tax, local tax, property tax, school tax. We get taxed out the fucking ass, bro. It sucks. You might as well just take 50% of everything I have, honestly. I'm moving to another country and looking at places to even just rent is super confusing. Oh yeah, I can't imagine doing it in a whole nother place, bro. That's crazy. You're moving to Mexico. Nice, dude. Which part? Property taxes pay for roads, snow clearing, garbage collection. That's good. Tax. Tax. Can you make a living off this? Yep. Absolutely. I drove up in mid-November of that same year, making sure all the wildfires in the area had either burned out or been contained. But it wasn't a case of just driving out to the thing and loading my car up with anything of interest. Accessing the cabin took hours of hiking across unfamiliar terrain, and we grew up in a family that was more familiar with spas and resorts than hiking or camping. Preparing for the trip took months of purchases and planning, and by the time I was finally ready, I remember feeling very, very apprehensive. I wanted to know what my dad had been up to out there, if he was just a latent appreciator of the outdoors, or if there was some deeper meaning to it all. But I never stopped to consider if maybe, just maybe, I was better off not knowing the answers to my questions. Now, I'm not talking about anything too sinister. More like I didn't want to see the evidence of degenerate alcoholism or worse, some kind of weird BDSM setup. So there was this sort of creeping apprehension as my day of departure approached, just not nearly enough to stop me though. And after driving out to Happy Camp, a friendly local directed me down to a place called Cottage Grove. And there was a whiter rifting. I bought my current house in 2019, already worth double I'd pay for it. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, COVID, the inflation that they did from the spending bills during COVID inflated the economy to fucking no end. And then also during that COVID time, it was like a huge just uptake of property because the interest rate was so low. It was 2.7%, or I'm sure fucking BlackRock probably got 0% loaning to themselves or some shit. I don't even know. Oh, fuck. In the Philippines, you can live off of $80K for life. Start a small store with about $3K. That's crazy. It would be kind of sick to live in. Would be kind of sick to live in the Philippines and just live like a king. Should I do that? Should I do that, chat? Should I go be the king of the Philippines? I have some friends who send money back to their like families and shit in the Philippines, and you know, it's like sending money back. They get like a driver and a cook and just all sorts of crazy, you know, rich people shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck? That's awesome. And it seems like, and they don't even work that crazy of jobs. They just, I don't know if that's the difference in like the value of money over there. Of all the people that can do that, you be the one. I think I'm meant to be there. Fry wants me to be their new president. How old am I? I'm 35. How old do you have to be do you have to be a citizen, Fry, to be the president of the Philippines? Do people send in stories via email? Yipper. Let's read submissions at gmail.com. You can find that in the description of all the videos too. I did my taxes after living in Pennsylvania for a year, and the taxes here are fucking outrageous. Wait, where at? Hail to the king of the Philippines. Our mortgage paid, and we'd have to pay shitloads more to downsize. Oh, damn. Everyone wants to move. I get it, taxes are all over place to place. Depending on that, and there's no other taxes, we love you. Taxes are so sick, dude. I'm as old as your boyfriend. Perfect. We're homeboys. We play shuffleboard together. Do I know my read speed? I don't know. I'm sure it's not that impressive, honestly. Just with my eyeballs. I mean, I wonder if it's just like with my mouth. I wonder how fast it could be. There was a whitewater rafting company based down there who wouldn't mind me leaving my car parked overnight. And then from there, it was almost 5 miles of hiking out towards Black Marble Mountain, and all I had to go on was a map the attorney had procured on my behalf. And it was hard going. I soaked my shirt with sweat, got myself lost a couple of times, and burned through so much of my water that I had to top my canteen up with some stream water. And it warmed up fast, and the chlorine tablets made it taste like a swimming pool. And then after a few more hours, the trees started to thin out, and I actually spotted the cabin in a distant clearing. And I was kind of expecting something fancy, like maybe some luxury man cave Dad could retreat to whenever he needed to luxuriate, you know? But seeing it from a distance, I could tell right away that it was anything but luxurious. It was moldy and moss-eaten, and the front was all scratched up, presumably from where generations of bucks had been using it as some rutting post. It had one small window on its front with no glass or a shutter, and the roof looked like it was about to fall in. I tried the door thinking that it was fit to fall off, but it proved surprisingly sturdy. It was thick with these metal hinges, and what I realized were metal panels that had been nailed to the other side. But that only caught my attention for a second or two before I turned to the cabin's interior, and when I did, my jaw absolutely dropped. Almost every surface was covered in maps of the area, and all of them had been heavily written on. There was a lot of camping-related trash around it too. Spent gas canisters for this portable stove, empty cases of water, all that sort of thing. But dotted among the maps were photographs of what I came to realize were the same man. It was clear that this place was not newly built. Either maybe he renovated it or built on top of it, but it had been around for a while. Some of these images of this man were pinned to corkboards, and others were... Oh shit, Sweet Sanguine with the big 20. Thank you, from Canada. Appreciate you so much. What's the most memorable story you've ever read or told? Oh man, good question. What do you guys think? Does any come to mind? When I was college and learned how to exchange rates and purchasing power parity, I seriously considered moving to a place like the Philippines after a few years and retiring at 35 or something. Yeah, I wonder what it'd be like. Like, how would you be able to get, like, if I went there, could I get, like, private security? What's a normal day for Joel look like? Oh, man, it's not that exciting, honestly. I've been dealing with some, business-related stuff as of late, but I'm kind of nocturnal, and then working out, getting some, stuff figured out business-wise, and then dinner with people, streaming. Did I go to college? Yeah, I went to nursing school and I was a nurse for a while. My neighbor's from there, and he's building a house. I'll have to talk to him about it. Oh, nice. What happened to Monday's video? I screwed up and accidentally set the release for Sunday. But yeah, it was a good weekend. What's my day job? This is my job, bro. Being a YouTuber is pretty lucrative. The story about the dude who killed his brother in the mine shaft was legit. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Was it the gases or something that made him nuts? I don't even remember. Your Vlad the Impaler story is one of the most memorable one for me. 10 out of 10, still loving listening to that and the arrow to the knee reference. That's awesome. Am I sleepy? No, I think my voice is just kind of hoarse from going to a football game on Monday Night Football in Baltimore. I shaved my balls on Saturday and they still feel amazing, cupping them so smooth, never missed a hair. Hell yeah, dude. Freshly shorn. Some were pinned to the walls, others were lying on the table or nightstand, and while they weren't in sequence, they seemed to show this guy in a very disturbing state of deterioration. There were a couple of photos showing a very happy-looking man with red curly hair posing with family or friends. In those pictures, he looked bright and healthy, but in other pictures, some of which looked like he'd taken himself, he looked increasingly tired and very gaunt, almost like he was sick. And then there were the pictures of the red-haired man that looked like he didn't know that they were being taken. There was one of him staring into a stream. Hey, thank you, Janet. Good to see you. There was one of him staring into a stream, his previously short hair very long and unkempt, and then another slightly blurry picture of him walking barefoot. You thought it was on the West Coast. I'm East Coast, baby. And then another slightly blurry picture of him walking barefoot. I can't say this word. And then another slightly blurry picture of him walking barefoot and shirtless through the trees. There were no clues to who the man was, only that someone had been using the maps to track his movements. There were little annotations with dates and times, and one of them said, "He's still here," over a very certain grid square. Oops. Very certain. There were little annotations with dates and times, and one of them said, "He's still here," over a certain grid square. It looked like my dad had been either trying to find the guy or was tracking his movements. But why, was the question. I started to search the cabin a little, looking for something that would give me a clue as to what Dad was up to. But the only things I found were this very hefty-looking revolver in a desk drawer and a box of .44 ammunition to go with it, and a couple of empty booze bottles, just like Mom had said. There was no running water, no bathroom or sink to wash myself in, and from what I could tell, Dad had spent an awful lot of time there doing something that I couldn't figure out. There was a cot and nightstand in one corner where Dad had obviously stayed overnight a bunch of times. So I dusted it off, tossed my bag down on it, and then took a walk around the area to get a better feel for the place. I wanted to know what had drawn my father to that particular area, and after seeing all those maps and photos, I had a feeling as to what was going on, just not enough to know for sure. He had that cabin built in that... Davis, oh, thank you for the 5. Says, thank you, Joel, you do good work. Thank you, Davis, you're awesome. Appreciate you. What's my ethnicity? What's the ethnicity where you stick a pickle up your ass? It's that one. Or it's first it starts as a cucumber, it comes out as a brown pickle. Need the personal IG or something. There's no way I can work 10 hours listening to you guys non-stop. I think I never made a personal IG, honestly. I just never think I missed that era. Pickle knees. Been awake for 42 hours. Maybe this can calm me. Yeah, we'll get you to sleep. Bombaclat will send you off. She got a COVID shot and had a bombaclat. Yeah. You missed out on peak life. Wait, with the pickle situation, or what did I do? I totally think we need a new Joel poll. Alien badass nurse entrepreneur Gomez. Gomez. Did I enjoy the game? Yeah, it was good. I don't know. The Ravens looked weird, though. I'm not like a Ravens fan, but I enjoy watching them. And Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. I mean, I think Derrick Henry had definitely a very important fumble there. Hutchinson knocked that shit out of his hands pretty handily. But I don't know, man. Lamar Jackson was sacked like 6 times in that game, and then even his sort of extend the play rushing, he just wasn't able to get upfield, I guess. So a lot of Ravens fans were pissed. The cool thing is, and I'm kind of curious if it's that way in other NFL stadiums, but Ravens fans are crazy, but in a good way. It's good energy, you know? They're just they all support each other, but they're all wound up and shit. Trying to ignore sports talk and politics. Is it the same thing? Let's talk about the Crips and the Bloods. The Saints gonna win the Super Bowl. I don't even know what the Saints record is. Are they even... I haven't heard of the Saints in forever. Saints Row, maybe. Saints are 0-3, so I think they're doing pretty good. Have I seen OD Knock? No, what's that? You hate talking politics, sports, and gaming? Oh, well, we're a bunch of gamers in here. Political gamers. Political sports gamers. He had that cabin built in that specific... Whoops. He had those additions to that cabin built in that specific spot for a specific reason, but nothing about the surrounding area gave me any clues to what was actually there. And as far as I'm concerned, this was a perfectly normal just patch of forest that was home to nothing more than frightening... God damn it, man. And as far as I was concerned, this was a perfectly normal patch of forest that was home to nothing more frightening than the occasional bear with their cubs. But that night proved otherwise. After making my way back to the cabin, I made myself some food, and then as the sun started to set, I went about actually studying the maps that were thrown about I went about reading the maps that were thrown around by the light of my electric lantern, and there were some other notes written over certain grid squares that said things like, "Found him sleeping here," or "Human scat? Feeding?" ? All of which made me think that Dad was tracking the man with that red hair. But then there was the note that said, "Almost saw me. Too close," with the "too close" having been written in big block letters. That and the gun made me realize that whatever happened to him, the red-haired man had somehow posed a threat to my father. And since I was now in the cabin, he might just pose a threat to me too. Now, notes like "made contact today" gave me hope, but then others, quote-unquote, "secondary contact, bad reaction," made me think that sleeping there was just not such a good idea after all. But then knowing that it was too late to do anything about that, without risking getting lost in the dark, made me feel very, very uneasy. Now, once it was completely dark outside, I bolted the cabin door shut, closed the little shutter of its only a glassless window. Your roommate keeps eating your snacks. Damn, dude, I'm sorry about that. Snack time, snack time, snack time. What's up, Yuji? Rafaela, what's up? New Silent Hill game comes out tomorrow. I swear to God, there was a Silent Hill game that just came out like a year ago? Or how long am I streaming for? Usually it goes for like 3 more hours. Where do you watch me play games? I mean, I sometimes play games on this stream, but you'd have to go back through the stream playlist to like see way back probably. How often is there a Let's Read live chat? It's every Sunday and Wednesday night, because new videos come out Monday and Thursday, so I record the night before, edit it into a normal video. Once it was completely dark outside, I bolted the cabin door shut, closed the little shutter on its only glassless window, and then tried and failed to get comfy on the canvas cot. And that proved just about impossible for a while. But with the sound of the wind in the trees creating this very soft, incessant drone, and with the exhaustion of the day's hike finally setting in, I eventually found myself drifting off to sleep. I don't know exactly how long I was out for, but I woke up. I don't know how long I was out for, but I was jolted awake around 2:30 in the morning after hearing a noise. My heart began pounding, and I looked all around the cabin for the source of the noise. Then I realized, with relief, that it was coming from outside the cabin. Something was moving out there, and at first, I thought that it had to be an animal of some kind, curious probably of the smell of food. But as I listened, I started to hear this very steady, bipedal shuffle that sounded way too confident to be an animal. Now, the first thing I did was go for the desk, where that very chunky revolver was sitting in the drawer. Now, I'm not exactly some hotshot with guns, but I knew how to load and... operate it so it was ready to fire. An animal would just leave given some time and possibly a warning. But a lone person out there, in the middle of the night, was definitely worth arming myself for. My next move was to that small shuttered window, which I very swiftly unshuttered and shined a flashlight out of. I had a wide enough arc to illuminate what was directly in front of the cabin, but not much else. But as I scanned, that rhythmic shuffling noise sounded like it was getting closer and closer to my field of vision. I pointed my flashlight beam over to some of the trees to my right, then, after a few seconds of waiting, a person shuffled into view. They were completely naked, with only patches of clean, pale skin visible through this covering of dirt and grime. Their long red hair was knotted and wild, and I caught a glimpse of a very similarly unkempt beard, too. I knew who it was from the moment I saw all that hair, but as I shined my flashlight on him, he didn't react at all. He just kept walking. Boop with the 369 says no longer a park host. I moved. A 40-acre homestead, one way in, one way out. Everyone is armed, helping the owner to be off grid. Wait, sorry, what is... Thank you for the 639. It says no longer a park host. I moved. Now I'm on a 40-acre homestead, one way in, one way out. Everyone is armed, helping the owner be off grid. Oh, nice, dude. So you like have like a whole ass compound, but you're like there security or something? I have misphonia, so some sounds make me feel filled with rage. Some sounds? What about this one? Squeeze! Oh, man. Also, did you guys see that what was the deal? YouTube said that they were unbanning a lot of people or something, or like YouTube channels that got banned in the past related to like political speech are now being unbanned. Is that true? I have Miss Hornia. Do you ever get afraid of how much love you would unleash on the world? Like buckets and buckets of love. Pretty much, owner is a combat vet. We have a shooting range. Interesting. So did you start? Is it like a commune? Like, are you guys all communists? Veteran communists. I'm just kidding. Did any of you still got a hype button on Saturn Soul, or was it a one-time button? I was curious about that. How does that work? Maybe everybody blew their hype button load on that episode. It's just the two of us taking applicants. Oh, okay, yeah. You gotta start somewhere. Well, that sounds interesting. I mean, be safe out there. Don't kill each other. And don't do any meth or anything like that. Because that'll probably make you kill each other. The hype reloads after a week. Okay. Well, I release every other week, so maybe this new episode... I don't know. I'm curious about if the hype is like authentic, or you know what I mean? We want to hunt tweakers in the woods. It's bad out here. Yeah, be careful, bro. Don't end up... he's gonna tap on your door in the middle of the night. It's like, bro, I need you to help me bury this body. Hey, see you, Rex. Have a good night. He just kept walking side onto me like he was circling the cabin, and he kept going that way for about a minute or two before he suddenly just stopped. Now, at first, all I could do was just watch, stunned into silence by what, or more like who, I was seeing. But when the guy paused and stood perfectly still like some creepy statue, I knew that I couldn't stay silent any longer. I called out to him, saying something like, "Hey, I'm warning you. I got a gun in here." But he didn't react to the sound of my voice either. He stayed almost perfectly still aside from this very subtle swaying. And then out of nowhere, he suddenly started sprinting towards the cabin door. And the way that he went from 0 to 60, it scared the crap out of me. So I slammed the shutter closed and then backed away from the front wall of the cabin and pointed the gun right at the door. I saw those metal plates again, and it suddenly made this horrible sort of sense why they'd been added. I thought the guy was going to throw his weight into the door to try and bash it open, but right as his footsteps got very close, they stopped, and he seemed to just sort of stand outside the door, quiet and still again. I reminded him that I had a gun, and that breaking into a cabin would be the last thing he ever did. And you guessed it, he didn't say crap in return. There was just this dead silence for a minute or two before he started gently knocking on the cabin door. It was really soft and quiet at first, barely even audible, but it got louder and harder with each repetition. Repetition. What was my GPA in high school? It was like probably something, I want to say it was like 3.4, 3.5 or something. It wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. Your channel's the only place where I feel like I appreciate you, brother. Oh, thanks, Nate. Good to see you. Who cares about GPA? What do you mean, who cares about that? I'm gonna get into Harvard, bro. I'm gonna get into Harvard. Meat pies. Cabin in the Woods. What do you think about non-tippers and tipping in general? I think tipping sucks. But at the same time, whenever I went to Australia, I noticed that servers just like were worse overall. Like they didn't have a rhythm to their, like when you have servers in America, like sure you have to tip and it's annoying. It's like 15 to 20%. So like on a fucking $100 bill, it's, you know, going to be $20. You got to awkwardly hand them in addition or whatever. But at least they have a rhythm about their self. You know, you get seated. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but they come up and they're like, hey, you guys, how's it going? And we did the specials tonight, and we got the fucking couple of these meat pies, and you better shove them in your ass. What can I get you to drink? And then they get, you know, you're like, oh, I'll take a fucking pile of spit. And then they go and get your spit, and they come back, and there's just like, you know, and then you want any appetizers or anything right now? Yeah. And then I'll give you a minute. And then you really only have to wait like 2 to 5 minutes, and then they come back and take your normal order, and then that's the longest wait. You know, there's like a rhythm to it. But like when I was in Australia, from what I recall, it was like they were tag teaming some shit, you know what I mean? And it was just very unreliable, I guess, to whether or not you would get good service, or if you had to like, excuse me, can I get some more breadsticks here, please? Can I get, you know, but they look at you like you're fucking crazy. You're like, ugh, get your fucking hands off of me as soon as possible, you piece of shit. I spit on your breadsticks. Oh, that's perfect. I actually wanted some spit. If she talks like that, she better sit on my fries. Good point. I don't want her to burn her bum, though. Other countries don't do tipping. Yeah, but that's the question, is like, does tipping create a good culture in the United States so that when you go to restaurants, you get your shit in a timely manner, right? Does it incentivize the server to do well, right? And apparently now, we don't have like taxes on tips now, right? Is that true? But granted, nobody was reporting their tips anyways for the most part. But I feel like they always reported a little bit. I remember working in like a bar, and people would get like crazy. They make like $600 in a night at a bar being a server. It's fucking crazy from tips. They go buy a sex box, you know? And then they would only ever like claim, what, like 1/4 of that or something? The taxes on tips has been repealed. Like, as in, you still get taxed or you're done taxing. Anyways. No, they should be paid a competitive living wage and be incentivized to perform well to continue keeping that job. You know, that makes sense too. That does make sense. Because I don't understand why, like, if you get tipped, right? Why are the servers making like $2.50 an hour? Like, who decided that wage per hour was somehow okay because it's offset by tips? Like, that's such a strange thing. Well, I guess at the end of the day, there should just be competitive wages between the restaurants and the places that you work in general. And if there's no interference from the government, it wouldn't like artificially inflate anything, you know what I'm saying? And then it would just be up to like the individual businesses to compete with each other to get you to want to work there, maybe. Does this make some sense? That kind of makes some sense. Because I see some places, like some nice grocery stores and shit, have like, you know, you can make upwards of like what, fucking $25 an hour and get benefits and stuff. And it's like top 500 companies in the United States to like work at a grocery store. It's kind of sick. You worked as a nurse, you weren't tipped for saving someone's life. That is unfortunate. I mean, I guess you make a competitive wage based on whatever, I don't know, your hospital pays you. If minimum wage was kept from 1970, it would be $60 an hour. That really, based on inflation. See, that's kind of crazy. It almost makes you wonder if maybe they knew the inflation. Any advice on a job hunt? I had some leads and interviews, but it will take some time. I still have October month paid. After that, laid me off, but I worry time is running out. Yeah, did we talk about it last time? I think maybe you can talk to the AI to ask like maybe like a day-to-day plan or something. Did you know the places offer pre-calculated tips like 20% is X, 15% is Y, or overcharging by like $2? I worked in retail hauling heavy products off trucks in negative 35 degrees Celsius weather, no tips. I know, right? Need to go work in a bar. I think stuff is going up to pay for all the stimulus checks. There was a clear, I think during COVID, the amount of inflation that we created throughout the entire, at least this is the data that I saw initially, it might be even bigger or incorrect, but it was like we created 1/3 of the entirety of the United States history of inflation within that like 2-year span of like spending bills during COVID. So like so many people want to sit here and pretend like it was all about some disease, but I'm fairly certain most of it was like a redistribution of like your wealth to very rich and powerful people way above you. I'm an Australian. What do they do when you don't tip? They ever say anything? If you don't tip, it is certainly considered quite rude. And they're not going to say anything directly in that moment, especially if they suck. Like if a waiter genuinely sucks, then fuck them. You know what I mean? Fuck them and don't go back to their dumbass restaurant. But, you know, if they know that you come in and that you're stingy and you come in all the time, I think there might be definitely a relationship barrier there for sure. It was really soft and quiet at first, barely even audible, but it got louder and harder with each repetition. I figured it was a fist at first, but the longer it went on, the more I realized that the impact was much larger, and it was exactly at head height too. That crazy bastard was banging his fist. I wasn't banging his cock against the door. That crazy bastard wasn't banging his fist against the cabin door. He was smashing his head into it, over and over and over again. I remember yelling at him to stop while staring straight at those metal plates thinking, Jesus Christ, this has to be before. This has happened. I remember yelling at him to stop while staring straight at those metal plates thinking, Jesus Christ, this has happened before, hasn't it? As the guy kept slamming what I assumed was his head into the thick wooden paneling, I started yelling at him that I wasn't my dad and that he'd passed away. I didn't phrase it exactly like that. It was much more of a drawn-out and... I didn't phrase it exactly like that. It was much more drawn out, and I must have sounded terrified. But I drove the point home that Dad was gone, and I wasn't staying. And then the moment that I made that point, the banging suddenly stopped. There was dead silence again for a moment or two, and then I heard a voice outside saying my dad's name. It was a raspy kind of croak, like whoever was outside hadn't drank or said anything in a long, long time. But it was clear enough for me to recognize his name. I told the guy for a second time that my dad had passed, and then in the morning I'd leave and never come back. But his only response was to croak Dad's name again, a little louder. I yelled at him that time, shouting about how Dad was dead, how I didn't know what the hell he'd been up to, and that I didn't mean anyone any harm by being out here. I expected him to repeat Dad's name again, but the silence drew itself out until suddenly I heard footsteps getting gradually quieter as whoever it was began to walk away. I remember just standing there, unable to move but also unable to stop shaking as I listened to those footsteps get more and more muted, until finally I couldn't hear them anymore. Hearing only silence again felt like a spell being broken. I could move again, but I also couldn't stop moving. There was no way that I was sleeping in that cabin that night, not after that, so I packed up my stuff, made sure that I was headed west, and then walked until I saw the sunrise. But that night hike was one of the most terrifying experiences of my entire life. Not only did I notice that the cabin door was drenched in what looked like saliva on the way out, or blood, but I mistook every little shadow on the edges of my flashlight beam for that naked, red-haired man. The same could be said for every little sound I heard too. I heard an owl or something hooting behind me, and I'd spin around on the spot with my flashlight and my dad's gun at the ready. I honestly thought that I was going to have to kill a man that night, and I thank God that it didn't come to that. I also didn't feel truly and completely safe until I was back in my car and on the move again. By the time I got back home, I hadn't slept in more than 24 hours, but I was still so wired after all that adrenaline that I didn't even think about sleeping until late that same afternoon. I called the Ranger HQ there in Yukonom and reported what I'd seen, and told them how concerned I was for whoever was out there. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yukonom. Seppi! Welcome to the Buttersall Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you. Do 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 do. Have you ever eaten Jamaican food before? What's your opinion on it? I like it. I've had like jerk chicken and all sorts of shiz. It's good. It's good stuff. I got a jerk chicken. I had the blood clot seasoning. It was tasty. How do I say this word? Yukonom. I'm being perverted? Am I? Yukonom. Okay, I think I said it right. Oh yeah. I need to get myself some more Jamaican food for show. I called the Ranger HQ at Yukonom to report what I'd seen, and told them how concerned that I was for whoever was out there. I mentioned how I believed my late father had been trying to find a missing person, but I didn't mention anything about the tracking or the observation he'd done, nor did I go into detail regarding that horrifying encounter of the previous night. All I said was that guy seemed dangerous. I didn't want the Ranger thinking that I was some crazy attention seeker. And then once it was his turn to speak, the Ranger told me something very shocking. He said that I wasn't the first person to make a report like that, concerning some red-headed wild man living out there in the woods. I probably wouldn't be the last either. But to date, he hadn't hurt anyone. He'd just give them a scare, especially considering his lack of clothing and, obviously, strange behavior. The oldest filed report was from 15 years before, which coincidentally was right around the same time that Mom and Dad was getting divorced. I asked if my dad's name was among any of those who'd made reports, but the Ranger said no. Now, before we hung up, the Ranger suggested the guy was an old friend of my father's, who had been out there trying maybe to find him. Now, I was sad. Joe, how can you interact, read stories, press record, use reading, voice pause, and back to chatting and saying, oh, I don't know, thank you. I just kind of be doing it. Sometimes I know a lot of people say they find it annoying, hence why they don't stick around the stream. Like some people come first-time viewer and they're like, what the fuck, are you going to read a story? All this like going back, talking and stuff. And it is what it is. When people say they like your voice, do you take it as they only like your voice and not you as a person? I mean, I guess it depends. Like, if they say they like my voice in the video, and then they come to the stream and they're like, oh shit, my favorite narrator is a real human being, like, you know, that makes sense. It's kind of sad whenever, like, I start getting on one of my rants or something like that and start talking about some shit, and, like, you know, a couple streams back, somebody was like, I've been listening to you since I was 12 years old. I'm 22 now, and you've gravely disappointed me with your thoughts and opinions that aren't exactly like my own. And it's like, grow up, you little silly goose, you know, just silly. I put it in your head, I guess. We'll try Taste of Jamaica if you ever near one, and I highly recommend the red pea soup or the chicken cornmeal porridge and festival or patties. That does sound really good. That'd be kind of sick to go to like a Jamaican buffet and you just like get to try everything. You like me because of my streams? Yeah, Justin, you don't even listen to the videos. You get notifications on the videos and you spit on the screen. Tua. The Jamaican hush puppies. Oh my god. Oh my god. Can I say hello to Alyssa? What's up, Alyssa? You hate my voice, but like watching me through the window, yeah. I'm sitting here streaming naked. It's actually a hot tub stream and you guys don't even realize it. What you see on screen is what I'm doing IRL. This is actually a complete VTuber setup. I just haven't moved much. My friend of 12 years stopped talking to me because I came into work with a Starbucks coffee. I've been canceled. Your friend of 12 years stopped talking? Dude, like, how can you be friends for 12 years and someone stops talking to you because of something so literally pointless? Like, you have to just, I mean, I'm not trying to put your friend down, but you have to assume something's wrong with them, right? If, like, I mean, it does sound insane. Like, there's so many, like, things lately with politics that's just so insane. People are so insane. Like, I don't even know. The weirdest thing is that you're not even, like, really a participant in it outside of being a citizen. So why would you, like, when there's people above you making decisions for you that you don't even agree with, why does it behoove you as a citizen to get into an argument with another citizen over something that you technically only really have like a loose involvement with every like 2 to 4 years with like voting? Beyond that, it's like being pissed at somebody and losing a friendship due to like your thoughts and ideas from the soap opera that you watch that is modern politics. That's a mental illness. That's genuinely something that is pretty wrong with people. I don't even really know what I have no idea what Starbucks is. It like a Palestine thing, probably? I assume it's probably a Palestine thing. We're boycotting this thing this week. Oh my god, Israel didn't listen to us? Who would have guessed? Before we hung up, the ranger suggested the guy was an old-time friend of my dad's who'd been out there trying to find him. I said it was possible, but I couldn't know for sure. And Mom certainly didn't recognize the guy's description, and neither did she recall Dad ever hanging around with anyone who looked like that. And that was probably the point where I was at my most curious, and I guess there was a time there when I was in danger of falling into what I consider as the same trap as my father did. Now I figured, why sell the place? I can go out there every so often and piece together what Dad was trying to figure out and build. But then I saw myself falling down the rabbit hole of obsession, emptying liquor bottles out there on my lonesome, till I was oops. My front glutes. When my dog Woo Woo hears you, she runs to the bed and curls up. Oh, that's so cute. Give her a smooch on her face for me. What's up, Gem Dog? How we doing? Broccoli. But then I saw myself falling down the same rabbit hole of obsession, emptying liquor bottles out there on my lonesome, till I too until I too died long before my... Okay. Your birthday's in a week. Nice, dude. What are you gonna do? You got any plans? But then I saw myself falling down that rabbit hole of obsession, emptying liquor bottles out there on my lonesome, till I too died long before my time should have been up. Now after that, I put the cabin up on the market. I had to sell that land and the cabin as kind of a parcel together, and I sold it as a... I had to sell the land and the cabin as a kind of parcel, and I sold it at a heavy discount purely because I just wanted to get rid of everything, and also because it was so dilapidated and disgusting. And the thought of sending an evaluator out there really didn't even cross... And the idea of sending someone out there to evaluate it didn't even really cross my mind, because I'm not sure that I could have lived with myself if they'd gone all the way out there, probably never to return. I need to make that sound spookier, huh? What's up, inactive guy? Your 35th birthday is Sunday and I'll be here for the live stream. Nice, bro. I'll be here, I promise. I think I promise. I might go get milk and cigarettes. Also, what a weird combination. Do you think there's some sort of like... I just imagine there's like thousands of dads out there who are drinking a gallon of milk while smoking cigarettes driving around, and something about the compounds in both mixed together has just like caused their brains to maybe forget where they are, and they couldn't make it home that way. The thought of some... Samira, welcome back for 16 months. Thank you. Good to see you. The thought of sending somebody out to evaluate... The thought of sending someone out there to evaluate it didn't even cross my mind, because I'm not sure if I could have lived with myself if they'd gone all the way out there, only to never return. Happy birthday to everyone who's ever lived ever forever. There, you can actually just say that exact line and you never have to tell anyone ever again happy birthday. Hey, see ya, Cassandra. Take care. Sorry about the friend. I'm sure they'll come back around. I think that's what's interesting about some people is like they'll make some real big huff about like their perspective on something, and then like 6 months later they're like, I don't remember that ever happening. I don't remember ever being like a massive dick about my thoughts in my head. I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember leaving the group chat and saying all of you guys should go die. Well, you did. Yeah, but don't you guys think that you should have died? Like, whenever someone says something I don't like, come on, don't you think I should react like an insane person? A little bit? Just a little bit. I mean, like, the media told me to do it, so it's fine. Constant repetition in my head forever has made me a better person. Been trying to convince my girls to come back for years. You're girls. You're a pimp and those are your girls. Come back, ladies, come back. Why do people have a birthday every year, but their age changes? Holy crap. And they try to act like nothing happened, be your BFF again, and make you do things for them. Like this is in grade school. Are we in grade school? Are we 12? Yeah, we're 13 now. Things are different. Grow up. Joe, are you for hire? I need this type of humor work. Yeah, I'll be the work stand-up clown. Oh, my throat. I don't know what happened. I feel like my throat got worse or something. Maybe it was already hoarse and I'm just chatting. Can't believe I gave birth before GTA 6. That is kind of crazy. So is GTA 6 coming out next year? When's that shit come out? In September of 1993, my college buddies and I were just about to start our junior year when we decided to meet up for a camping trip. Now, we've been talking about it for almost a year. We just never found a time when all four of us could make it. So before classes started, we figured that we'd head out into the boonies for some real Call of the Wild type stuff, as I like to call it. We picked out Olympic National Park, if you're familiar with it, and it being just a couple of hours drive away. And then combine that with the National Forest. Yep, they're two different places that border one another. Oops. And then combine that with Olympic National Forest. Yes, they're two different places that border one another. We had one of the largest wilderness areas in the lower 48, right there on our doorstep. We drove out on Thursday the 2nd. Damn, we're getting some information, bro. What was the stench last stream? Bro, I don't even know. I have no idea. I might have just been having phantom smells, phantom asshole leakage from COVID from years before. You want a butternut squash soup? I'll go with the seasons, but a few weeks ago it was crab corn chowder. Hell yeah, dude. I can't believe we get the Rapture before GTA 6. We drove out on Thursday the 2nd early in the morning with the plan to drive back to Seattle on Monday the 6th. Now we were full of pep on the drive out there, excited for 3 full days of living wild and free. And then after stopping for some lunch, we drove down to a place called Fairholme, where there was a campground and a general store. And that was our landing zone, if you will, a place where we'd spent our first night before heading out into the trails the next morning. Now from there, we'd hike out to Nanitch Lookout, soak up the views. Now from there, we'd hike out to a lookout, soak up the views from our camp on the mountain, and then just sort of lazily make our way back to the car via the... And from there, we'd hike out to a lookout, soak up the views from our camp on the... My God. And from there, we'd hike out to a lookout, soak up the views from our camping spot on the mountain, and then just lazily make our way back to the car, which we'd heard. And from there, we'd hike out to the lookout, soak up the views from our campsite on the mountain, and then just lazily make our way back to the car, which was supposedly supposed to go through like a rainforest, which we'd heard was like stepping onto an untamed planet. I'm not even joking. Now, the first night was a heck of a lot of fun. We passed through the The first night was a heck of a lot of fun, and then we passed through that rainforest on the next morning's hike, confident that we were heading in the right direction. And you couldn't miss the range of hills that we were headed for, so getting ourselves completely lost was just about impossible. But eventually, there came a point where we realized that we weren't on the trails that we thought we were. Not that it bothered us much. We knew that if we kept heading pretty much westward, we'd spot the lookout sooner or later. But what we didn't count on was how thick the trees were. It got to the point where, although we knew what direction we were headed in, we had absolutely no clue where we were exactly. And then after walking through endless trees for what felt like hours and hours, we came across the cabin. And it was so worn down and weathered that it was almost camouflaged against the backdrop of trees. The roof was completely covered in dead leaves, and there were vines creeping up one side, and these glass windows were so dirty that it almost looked like there was clouds inside. It looked completely abandoned, and after peeking through the windows, we knew we saw... Hey, Pats Nation, what's up, dude? Welcome back. Tomato soup, grilled cheese always brings back memories of childhood. Hell yeah. What do you drink with it, though? What does one drink with that combo? Got a bevy. Got a bevy. Do I drink alcohol? Not really. I mean, I'll do it like socially here and there, but not by myself or anything. It looked completely abandoned, and after peeking through the windows, we saw inside. It looked completely abandoned, and after peeking through the windows, we saw. God fucking damn it. We saw. It's like one fucking grammar error and my brain just explodes. Do I drink the soup? Oh yeah, always. You gotta drink the soup. You're doing great, sweetie. Thank you. I would love a meat pie right about now. It looked completely abandoned, and after peeking through the windows, we saw inside was covered with what looked like old camping stuff. On a table there was just crumpled up aluminum foil, a half-empty box of matches, and a dented tin can with a spoon crusted in dried beans. Scattered around the floor were torn wrappers from granola bars and a spilled bag of actual trail mix, and there was also an unzipped and stained sleeping bag slumped against one wall, next to a pile of damp firewood that somehow never made it to the cabin's stone fireplace. And after pushing open the unlocked door, I saw a deck of playing cards scattered across the floor as if a game was just kind of abandoned mid-play. And there were also faint carvings on the walls too, stuff like initials, dates, and just some very crude sketches. And we agreed that we were looking at some kind of hiker's stopover, and that'd be the perfect place to rest for a few hours before we carried on towards that lookout. And then after sweeping away some of the trash with our boots and broken branches, we settled in to have some lunch. Now, after sitting on the porch and heating up some stuff with our little camp stove that we brought, I decided... Gonna write a story and randomly say weenus just to trip you up. I dare you. I double dog dare you. You ever edit your stories before? Yeah, I usually have someone read through them and help, but it's just little things that get me, and then I'm not even mad, honestly. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. My bare footies tonight. I do have socks on, and I, for some reason, I'm wearing some thong sandals. I don't even know. Joel, do you believe in Ouija or fortune tellers when it comes to future predictions? I don't know. I've never heard one really say anything. Do you have anything coming up or something like that? What's the upcoming future I keep hearing about? I submitted my story yesterday about bad friends, Joy. I hope you read it one day. Thank you. I will try to. I really enjoy your channel, and now I can enjoy bonus content. Heck yeah, thank you. Why live tonight? What do you mean? It's Wednesday. New videos. Well, it's going into Thursday now, but new videos every Thursday, and we stream on Wednesday nights. Do you think time travel is possible? I don't know. I mean, the way that they frame time travel is like you can create different timelines or something in like the fabric of space and reality, but you can't go backwards in the same timeline because it's like that timeline is just like it's always just like one continual moment or something, I guess. I don't know. I mean, how would we ever really know? It would be crazy if just like everything insane is just real, like remote viewing, you know, where you can remotely look into something and see like the future, you can see the past, you can see places far, far away 1,000,000 years ago. There have been many people who said they were from the future in the past. So am I. I'm from there too. But now we're here. Now we've reached the current time, so now I don't have any more predictions, sadly. Chat starting to ask some crazy questions. Sorry, bro, my bad. These questions are kind of hard to answer. Oh, it's all good. I like hard questions. That's really the only thing I like answering, is just weird, strange, philosophical, interesting questions. What if it is, but they tried to change it, but then they had to fix it so we could never know if anyone did, because who knows, maybe they don't even know what they did. Like, my question's hard. Stiff. When did I start? I think we started an hour and a half ago. What's up, Sheed? Also, time travel before the cure for cancer. I feel like, how do we not have the cure for cancer? I feel like that, I know it sounds kind of presumptuous, but I honestly feel like we have to have it, right? Like some just weird thing that just reverses or like increases your natural killer T cell, you know what I mean? Like almost creates like a borderline autoimmune response, but like is able to like shut it down really fast or something. Or I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you guys think you cure cancer? Which one? I guess that's a good point too, like all the different formations of it. I don't know, maybe there's like a general cure. There's no chance we don't. Yeah, I mean, it would make more sense to, like, obviously profit off of hiding it and just treating people forever. It's not probably right, yeah. There are too many types of cancers. I think it's unlikely we'll ever find it. I mean, yeah. What's up, Beth? Cool cats and kittens. Is that a new PFP profile poop, or is that a different Beth? You can look, I think we cured it in 2002. Really? What was it? Iodine. You think it's iodine, Oxy? What does iodine do? Also, what's good? Deathica, thank you for that. I've just returned from the world of Mick Mouse and thought of the stream there. I heard about Twist, but we still have this. Keep the great work. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. What's world of Mick Mouse? Mick Mouse. It's Beth. Nice. Hell yeah. You're a cop now. Do you sell signed merchandise? I never did, but that'd be interesting. Should change your name to Cactus, but yeah, you should. I had a dream the cure for cancer was apple seeds and orange juice. Easy peasy. Easy fix. We had no idea the whole time. Cancer is complicated. Killing cancer cells also kills you, essentially. I mean, yeah, I guess with our current treatments, but I feel like there's got to be a way to, like, isolate. I mean, isn't there like a certain way for our own immune system to identify stuff? So I imagine our treatment would have to be, because right now what do we have? We have radiation, chemo, and surgery, right? And presumably that's like the kind of major ones. I feel like there's got to be some type of like nano technology or some shit we can just like a pill we can take that can find its way to the cancer in some fashion or another. Something that can like edit DNA or whatever to just completely erase it. Yeah, Beth's gonna put us in handcuffs and spank us. I get MRIs with contrast. We eliminated HIV with the CRISPR. Oh, okay. Wait, is that actually confirmed? What's up, Kaylee? What is the good? They cured it in Disney World. We should sign toenail clippings, like when you write on a piece of rice. Don't know why I thought of that. Well, we could try it. I'm gonna charge a lot. After sitting on the porch and heating some stuff up with our camp stove, I decided to explore a cabin. Oh my god. After sitting on the porch and heating stuff up with our little camp stove, I decided to explore the cabin a little. I figured that I might be able to salvage something from the debris, and then, since it was all trash in the main room, I decided to push my way into the bedroom to see if there was anything there. One of us had already taken a look, but he hadn't checked all the drawers in the old nightstand on account of it being covered in just a bunch of cobwebs. and the old stained mattress in the corner reeked of just rotten mold and dampness to the point that I almost covered up my nose and mouth as I checked the nightstand's drawers. And the first thing I saw when I opened the first drawer was what looked like a used condom, so I slammed that thing shut again because, good God, that's gross. Now, the second drawer had a bunch of empty glass medicine bottles with faded prescription labels. But then when I opened up the third drawer, I discovered it contained some kind of leather-bound notebook. Now, I pulled it out of the drawer, opened it up, and saw that it was someone's journal, with the first entry dated in 1978. I didn't imagine it to be really that interesting, like maybe some hiker just forgot his journal or something, but after reading that first entry, I'll be honest, I was hooked. The journal had been started by someone who was right at the beginning of what they called an adventure of a lifetime, and detailed their plan to basically live off the grid for the rest of their days. They talked about how incompatible they were with modern society, and how they knew that they'd be much happier out there on their lonesome while living off the land. The journal was supposed to be an effort to document their adventures, in the hopes that it would serve as a sort of guide to other folks who wanted to escape modernity and embrace nature. Now, as you can imagine, I was actually pretty psyched to have found something like that. I'd gone from thinking that it'd be filled with some terrible poems to being like, damn dude, I could probably get this published if I tried. And I talked back to my dad. Cocaine is an antibiotic, antiseptic, and anticoagulant. Yeah, how do you use it? Terst of herstory is canceled? Yeah, they said I was gay. They said I was gay and retarded. Just kidding. No, yeah, just differences in contract, and it is what it is. No worries, no harm, no foul. Pre-medicinal care would be a whole body MRI, just one that I wish I hadn't picked up. Oh, yeah. What the furk? Your Honor, what the furk? I walked back into the main room and told the gang about what I'd found, but not everyone was into it. Two of them were too fixated on trying to clear the cabin's old chimney and had this total whatever reaction to me announcing my find. But my buddy Steve then says, "Really? No way." And we sat down on the porch's steps and started reading through the journal together. Now, like I said, the first entries mostly detailed what the guy wanted to do and how he wanted to do it and what he hoped to achieve. But then as they continued, there was a lot more of the nitty-gritty survival stuff that I was actually hoping for. We found the entry from the day the guy ran out of store-bought food and had to rely on what he'd been hunting, catching, and foraging. It sounded scary, but exciting too, and it was thrilling to read how happy the guy was as everything he'd worked towards was starting to pay off. But then came the part where the guy accidentally poisoned himself with some undercooked game, and he got really sick for a couple of days. Now, I felt his anxiety when he wrote about how much it had sucked to die from something as crappy as food poisoning, and we were stoked when we read the entry about how he was starting to feel better again. Now, after reading through a couple of more entries, Steve was starting to get a little bored, so he walked off to help the others to try and start a fire in the cabin's fireplace. But I kept going on, and I'll never forget what I ended up reading. Unsurprisingly, a lot of the entries got kind of samey after a while, for lack of a better word. The journal's author did pretty much the same routine over and over again, with only the most minor of differences from day to day, and that meant that I went skipping ahead a lot to see if I could find any longer, more interesting entries. I watched as entries from 1979 bled into those from 1980, and as they did, they got less and less frequent. But then as 1981 slipped into 82, the style of writing started to change, and sometimes quite dramatically too. What were once elegant passages of prose degenerated into something more primitive, and it wasn't like he was talking to the reader anymore, like you were a friend. It was more like he was talking to himself, or like trying to talk to God. There were long rambling tracks about how he could hear the sky sing when it got really quiet, or how sometimes when he's killing a rabbit or a pigeon, it kind of felt like he was slaughtering his own self in some weird protective kind of way. He talked about how he wasn't just out there to find a new way of living anymore. He was out there to save his soul in some great game between the devil and the Almighty. Now, it was clear that he was losing it a little from the isolation, but the guy seemed to know it too. He acknowledged how bad it was affecting him, and he knew he needed to go spend some time among other people to just sort of soak up some civilization for a while. But he also wrote about how he couldn't bring himself to do it, how much he'd come to hate regular people, and how wasteful and mindless they are. It was kind of sad, reading about how this guy's quest to enlighten himself had turned him so bitter and reclusive. But then as the mid-1980s rolled into the latter half of the decade, the entries weren't just sad anymore. They got downright scary. Some of the later entries were short, clipped, and extremely angry sounding, with the letters seeming like they'd been scratched into the page. Then in 1989, some of the entries weren't even written in actual script. It was all just squiggles in a shorthand only the writer must have been able to understand. And when there were words that I could understand, they were mostly curses. What if autism is actually a form of activism in humanity? What does that mean? Activism in humanity. Like activating something in our DNA or whatever? It's God's way of telling us that chicken nuggets are the best food. Atavism? What's atavism? I don't know what atavism is. Can you explain it? We're sleeper agents for God's love for chicky nuggies. Autivism. Scary story topic idea. You should do a story time video about Yuki Onna if you think topic's interesting enough. Possibly sink walkers. What's Yuki Onna? Alright, let me look up atavism. A tendency to revert to something ancient or ancestral. The more civilized a society seems to be, the more susceptible it is to buried atavism. What do you mean, like the person turns into a caveman or something? It's kind of mean. So do you use bleach on fungal infections in the skin like ringworm? I don't know, man. I wouldn't do that. I'd probably go to the doctors. I did plasma exchange and red cell exchange for volume. The medical doctor ordered type-specific replacement. Just back to the roots. Well, can you elaborate on back to the roots? Is it really just as simple as peanut butter and jelly? It might be. Is Twist of History being canceled? It is, yep. Then in 1989, some of the entries weren't even written in actual script. It was all just squiggles in shorthand only the writer must have been able to understand. When there were words I could understand, they were mostly curses or these weird compound words like kill death, blood god, or sick brain. The author wrote how they were angry at God, that something had gone wrong with Something had gone wrong. Guys, do not take a whole bottle of Tylenol to spite the president. I promise you it won't help. Joel canceled himself because it's cutting into his goon time. Good point, actually. It certainly was a little bit. Of course, what isn't these days? Where was it announced it was canceled? It was, I think, announced on the actual podcast itself. I didn't listen to it, but people told me that's where they heard it. This is the first time I'm hearing it. You guys just told me I've been fired. Thanks. Fired from YouTube. Highly recommend reading Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate if you have ADHD. Is so good. So good. Pattern recognition, avoiding eye contact, hyperfocuses, and visual stimuli causing break concentration. And they're all psychic. Do you see yourself as the best storyteller on YouTube? Compared to who? In the creepypasta community? Like a specific sub-community? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, like, when compared to, like, someone, like, the professional realm of, like, what's his name, Andy Serkis or whatever, or, like, you know what I mean, like, just, like, clearly obvious, like, professional voice actors. I mean, there's so many good people. Like, there's just so many. Like, there's so many people from the dawn of time who just, like, have such an insane talent with their presentation and their voice. It's just that it's, like, magically captivating, you know what I mean? But within this sort of like sub-genre, the sub-niche of YouTube, I definitely do feel that I rank up there pretty decently well, and I try to I try my best, you know. But I guess at the same time, it's like when it comes to someone's voice, it really is just like the subjective nature of like music, where you're just like, you either like it or you don't, you know, and that's totally fine. Sometimes repetition can like get you hooked on it over time too, just from familiarity. David Attenborough. In high school, wrestling was accepted to have a chemical burn, but not ringworm. What? Wait, what are you talking about? Single-handed cured my insomnia like Ambien itself couldn't. Yeah, I've heard that before, which is really strange. You know, it's like, it's amazing. Like to hear someone say they've taken like medical high-end drugs to like help them sleep, and then it doesn't work, but for some reason my voice does. Like, that's pretty magical, and I'm thankful that I can even do that, you know. Hey, Lack, good to see you. That's Joe's voice, his wife, fangirl, and Mr. Bond's live chat, damn it. Yeah, I appreciate you. No worries, man. There'll be other cool things down the road, and, you know, so when one door closes, another pair of butt cheeks spread. He replaces me with chills. That'd be so fucking funny. Welcome back, buddy. We're gonna learn today about George Washington. Early, George Washington crossed the ocean blue to stab a bunch of fucking redcoats in the throat on Christmas Day, yay. Just like Santa had promised 3,000 years ago to the North Pole. She can make better audio in 2019 podcasts now because I want to hear them, but I work in a shop and it's too loud to hear. Damn. We got to turn down the shop. Burger King, fart fungus. Sometimes a little bit of fart fungus drips out. And you're like, what? What is that? You should mint sound clips of your voice as NFTs for like $5 a pop. Is NFT still a thing? I didn't even know that was like still a thing. Okay, where even was I when there were words understood? Oh yeah. The author wrote how they were angry at God and that something had gone wrong with the world that meant that he couldn't play the game anymore. I remember how one line said something kind of jumbled like, "I am not what I am. I am not my offense. I am a cosmic being, and the truth of my rules are the way of the..." God damn it. "The truth of my rules are the way of the next..." Okay. I remember how one line said something kind of jumbled like, "I am not what I am. I am not my offense. I am a cosmic being, and the truth of my rules are the way of the next revealed." I don't think that's what it said word for word, but it was basically the same sort of garbled, almost computer-generated text. Like his internal CPU was going very screwy. And there was some other stuff too, but it was just sort of, "I am finished. It is finished. I must finish it." Over and over again, sort of like variations on finishing something. And that was the last that... God. And that was the last of what I could read, and the rest was more of that shorthand, the only kind that was a little more intricate and deliberate than the squiggles on the other pages. I figured they had to end soon, that at some point he's going to give up trying to write as he completely lost his mind or finally abandoned his little quest. But instead, the entries continued and they somehow got even worse. There were, Will you help me Santa Clarita Diet Cheese? That sounds like schizophrenia. What did you say? That was a very good addition to the Bond Crew, and honestly, I'm gonna listen to a series. Yeah, no worries, dude. I think there were like other shows that were canceled as well. Do you guys know if there were like any other shows? You got $50 worth of Bitcoin as a wedding gift in 2011. That's crazy. Did you hold on to it the whole time? There were a lot less of them, sometimes only once a month, but the entries continued into 1990, 1991, and 1992. And then right as I'm thinking, no effing way has this guy been out here since the 70s, I turned a page and saw the numbers 1993 just roughly scrawled above another long track of symbols and squiggles. And as a reminder, this story takes place in September of that same year, so when I saw that the final couple of entries seemed almost fresh, with cryptic mentions of the approaching fall, I felt this wave of panic come over me. We weren't at some random hiker's rest stop. We were in some dude's cabin, and that dude was a dangerously insane individual. I rushed inside the cabin and said, "Yo, we gotta get out of here, now." And the whole time we'd been there, it had been peaceful and quiet, so my friends were very confused, asking things like, "What? Why? What's up? What happened?" And I didn't have time to explain everything I'd read, so I just kept saying, "We shouldn't be here. This is someone's place, and they're crazy." There was still this moment of confusion as they responded, "How could you even know that?" And then I say, "Okay, that there's this journal, it's their place, and we need to move." And it wasn't until I flicked through the later pages to show all the symbols and scribbles that my friends realized how serious I actually was about this. And when everything finally dropped, they quit trying to light a fire and we got the hell out of there. It was bizarre how fast the whole mood shifted. One minute we were just chilling in this random cabin, completely content with ourselves out there in nature, and then the next, we were walking as fast as we could with our heads on a swivel, praying that we wouldn't run into the person who'd written that journal. My buddies kept asking me questions on what I'd read, and each answer only got them more and more panicked, wondering what a person like that might have done if they'd found us in their own home. We hiked till we were almost completely wiped out, and that lookout was finally in. Boo-doo. Divine Jupiter, welcome back for 2 months, says, "Hey Joel, you should try to read an entire story in just the Chili's voice. Would be amazing. We could try it sometime, for show." Joe, this is what a Yukon Onna is. Sorry it took so long. Yukon Onna is a spirit from Japanese folklore known as the Snow Woman. She appears as a beautiful woman in a white kimono with pale skin and long black hair haunting snowy mountains. Oh god, that would be really creepy. You don't really hear too many stories about Japan where it takes place in the snow. She appears as a beautiful woman in a white kimono with pale skin, long black hair haunting snowy mountains. She can summon blizzards and freeze people with her icy breath. Dan the Gamer Man, welcome back for 2 months as Fart Fungus feels fearfully foul. Thank you. And Tribble Clef, welcome back for 11 months. Joel, I'm sorry, A Twist of History is canceled, but I believe it is because something bigger and better is coming. We will manifest this into a being. Yeah, I think it's a comet strike on Earth, like an asteroid. That's probably what it is. So I have enough time to prep for that and get to my bunker. Feeling dangerously foul. You wish you could start a vomit story channel on YouTube. Is it just you vomiting the whole time? What made me want to start this after going to nursing school? It was just after nursing school, and I just wanted to do something creative. And then once it started to work out, I was like, oh, I don't want to do nursing at all. Nursing sucks. Nursing is still a good job, but it's just like it didn't fit me, and I don't really know if it fits anyone, objectively speaking, but, you know, making money off of making entertainment is like such a fucking crazy, amazing, psychotically strange and abstract thing, and I'm very thankful for it. Were you abused by patients? I mean, here and there, I guess, but it's not like it was too crazy. It just sucks. How long was I a nurse? It was from like 2013 to, you know, like 2019 and ish. We hiked till we were almost completely wiped, and that lookout was finally in sight. We hiked till we were almost completely wiped, and that lookout was finally in sight. And since we were so beat, we agreed to... My god, I cannot fucking read. Holy shit. I'm your favorite nurse. Just think, every time you go to the hospital, I might walk into the room at some point. Be like, hello. I gotta fucking give you a suppository. Did your perspective of the medical industry change since then? Yeah, I mean, it made me realize that, like, the people taking care of you in a hospital are, like, nice people, but they're probably fucking just dipshits, you know what I mean? That you shouldn't just, like, you should just always, like, kind of, you have to advocate for yourself, you know what I mean? Like, not, like, doctors are dumb, nurses are really dumb, and everybody is dumb. And you just have to, like, understand that most people are stupid, and they take care of you. And that's fine. They do their best, but it's not perfect by any means at all. And sometimes it's, like, actively imperfect on purpose. We hiked till we were almost completely wiped, and that lookout was finally in sight. Since we were so beat, we agreed to scale it in the morning, and then we hiked up the valley a little to put some more distance between us and the cabin before setting up camp. And after we set up camp, it was hard to get back to normal again. Before we found the cabin, the woods seemed like this big playground, so to think dark corners held dark and dangerous secrets, it really put a damper on things. Now, we weren't armed, which was a major mistake in retrospect, but we were just out for a couple of days hiking, and we weren't looking to brave some wild frontier like Lewis and Clark with our muskets at the ready. These days, I'd never go into the woods without something to protect myself, though. But back then, let's just say that we paid for our naivety with fear that we felt that night. We were pretty confident that we were far enough away from the cabin and wouldn't run into its owner, and we were also confident of the numbers because 4 of us and 1 of him made for some pretty good odds. But it was easy to be confident during daylight hours, and after night set in and we were surrounded by darkness, we huddled around our campfire like every shadow was hiding some danger. And I think the anxiety peaked when someone brought up the prospect of him actually tracking us. The guy must have been crazier than a dog in a cat factory, and there was no doubt that he lived out there long enough to be able to hunt and track some game. And we were an unarmed group of 4, having made no real effort to conceal our tracks, meaning that there's every chance that he was sneaking up on us through that darkness, and it scared the living hell out of us. We kept on our guard most of the night, and then as it was approaching 11 p.m., I remember there was this lull in the conversation, as we all went quiet while staring at the campfire. I was actually starting to feel somewhat relaxed again, because if the crazy guy from the cabin wanted to track us, he definitely would have... So like when you got stories of the Albert Fish, do you edit them or just read it? So like the Albert Fish one is a true crime story, so that was all true crime stuff is researched and edited by Sam Riding. He's really good at that and just making it engaging and stuff, so that's definitely, obviously it's definitely edited, but it's edited by him as he does his research. There's nothing wrong with what we have to doing, and sometimes we don't want to breathe the way we need to. We all need some help sometimes. Faux show. Become as famous as you ever wish for, and wealth follows close behind. Thanks, dude. Did you have relations with my art teacher? Which one, now or back in the day? I got my mom hooked on these stories on your channel now. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Tell your mommy I said hey. His real legal name is Mr. Booty Ham Sandwich. And did I have my relations with my... why are you even asking that? Did I make I think I made a joke about that last time. And no, I did not hook up with my art teacher in high school, just to clarify. Christian. What's up, bro? What's up, Gabriella? I mean, nothing wrong with joking, but I was like, do you realize I can hear you? Wait, are you the art teacher? What's the temp of the hot tub? Oh, it's at a comfortable 111. It's for my lower spine. Do I love my own voice? I didn't before when I was younger. Like, I remember that was like one of the most jarring things when I was a kid, was like hearing my voice in recording and just being like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that sound? That's not me, is it? And I was just like so embarrassed for the rest of the day thinking that the way that I talk sounded like that to everybody. And I was like, God, no, that's what they hear me like? And then, but then after hearing myself in recordings for so long, I'm just like, okay, sweet, now I sound pretty cool. My worst personal hospital experience was before I was a nurse. I was taken to the ER at 17. I was passed out and started puking blood in the backseat of a friend's car. Some jackass was laughing. Yeah, the ERs are not like super professional at all, for sure. Can you tell my mom happy birthday? We're listening to your stories right now. Happy birthday, Mom. It's good to see you. The art teacher at my school was a notorious... Oh, yeah. That sounds pretty on par, honestly. It's like you either get like a really shitty mean art teacher, or you get like one that's like changes your life and is the sweetest, coolest person who encourages your skills. I still had an art teacher. I drew, one of the... It was like sort of like a spray paint graffiti style album cover of like Biggie Smalls. And I drew this really sick thing my senior year, and the art teacher fucking stole it. She stole it from me. She put it up in her display, and then it was like mine was the only one to disappear. I was like, you bitch. You liked it. You liked it a lot, and you took it fucking home. Didn't even let me sign it for her. Yeah. She wanted me to come visit her house to come get it. And I said, not today. I was actually starting to feel somewhat relaxed again, because if the crazy guy from the cabin wanted to track us, he definitely would have caught up to us by then. I started to think that I might have actually gotten myself into a panic over nothing, because there was every chance that this guy was way out in the boonies and only returned to his cabin every so often to, I don't know, sleep in that stinking mattress or whatever. But that's when we heard the scream. From the other side of the valley, this blood-curdling scream came echoing through the tree. Oh, fuck, my voice squeaked. Damn. Zam. Could you please say maybe, "What's up, Leroy? It's been a while." When I trick my boyfriend, it's not the only time. "What's up, Leroy? It's been a while." My art teacher in middle school brought goat's milk one day and made everyone drink it to leave. Huh. That's a little strange. It was always kind of being good at, or kind of cool to be decent at art, you know what I mean? Like, ever since I was little, it's like I could look at shit and just draw it from the paper and stuff, and then people are like, "Oh my god, that's fucking sweet." And then, like, once you're little and like somebody tells you like you're good at something, it's like that's the only thing you want to do. And then, you know, you just continue doing it throughout high school, and you're like, "Oh, my shit's never going to be as good as Joel's." And I say, that's fucking right. You suck. You suck at art. You suck at taking pencils and scribbling. What's the one story that sticks with me? I think it's the one about Mickey Lavalier. It was the guy who, I think he killed, like, he was like 15, and he would just go to like homeless encampments and like kill them, but with like a 30-06 rifle or something. And he would always do it during like thunderstorms. So like he would always time up the shot with like the thunder. And then he would take their bodies and just dissolve them in like, you know, big canisters of acid and stuff, kind of like the cartel. And I think I think he killed like 16 homeless people. But yeah, after that, the crime rate in the town went down real fast. Can we ever see your art? I think I do have just some, like, what are they called? Sketches and stuff on my Insta Slam. Any tips for guys starting to try to do this? Just, you know, just do it, you know, just do it. Just figure out what you need to do it, and then just do that. You need a mic, you need editing software, you need maybe Photoshop. Am I single? I currently am, yeah. It says, do you remember the Shoddy Cast? And thank you. The Shoddy Cast. Shouty. Let's see. Shoddy Cast. Why did Shoddy Cast die? Why did they die? What happened? The Shadas, Wikipedia. Shadas is the Shadas, 2002 Jamaican crime film about two young men who participate in organized crime in Kingston and Miami. Is it that? What headset do I use in my ears? It's Sennheiser's HD 650s. You gotta get the best shit. If you're gonna be a sound guy, you gotta get the best shit. Do I have another art teacher right now? No, it'd be fun though. It'd be fun to like take an art class just for shits and squiggles. Have you ever done the Dear Abby creepypasta? If not, you should. It's the name of his hits different. I don't know. I don't recall that one, but it oddly sounds kind of familiar too. What happens in it? I'm Joel, stand-up recording, it's crazy. Imagine a guy standing up on a computer talking to 400 of his close friends. I guess I do stand for a long time, but I like it. It makes it so after leg day, my hips and back aren't like fucking killing me. Shoddy cast. Images. A guy from Austin. What the fuck is Shoddy cast doing? AI mode. Shoddycast is a YouTube channel production company that gained fame for its lore videos and popular video games, particularly Elder Scrolls and Fallout. While it experienced a period of inactivity and leadership changes, the channel has recently become active again. Oh. Well, that's good. They do lore videos. Can I make it stop raining right now? Okay, 1 second. It should stop momentarily. What's my favorite creepypasta? I don't know, it's been forever, but I remember one I read from like Axeman cartoons in the past. What the hell was it? Like The Chanting in the Woods. I do miss doing creepypastas. There was something like just really... It just felt like epic, you know what I mean? It was like each one was like a really just unique experience, I guess. From the other side of the valley, this blood-curdling scream came echoing through the trees. The word scream doesn't entirely fit what we heard either. It was more like a cross between a howl and a roar, one you could hear all this anger and madness in, but also all this pain too. Whoever made that noise was not in control of themselves or their mind, and just hearing it scared the hell out of us. The scream had sort of petered out for no more than a split second when one of my friends says, "That's him." And there was no debate from anyone else. We knew damned well who made that sound, and there was no disputing it, and there was no way in hell that we were going to be staying out. Staying out. What the fuck is wrong with me? You ever been using a standing desk ever since you first started streaming? No, I don't know how long ago I started the standing desk. That was a decent few years ago, but not when I first started streaming. I used to sit in my fart and poop and ass all the time on the computer, but every time I would get up, you know, you're always like, oh god, my lumbar. Joe, are you ever going to someday soon? I think I already did, honestly. Already done and accounted for. We knew damn well who made that sound. There was no disputing it, and there was no way in hell that we were going to stay hanging out in that same spot. We doused the fire, packed away our tents and the rest of our gear, and then we walked non-stop until we found ourselves back in that general store and where we parked the car. By then, the light of dawn was creeping over the hills in the east of us, and just seeing it felt like salvation. We didn't say much on the ride back. Someone suggested that we should have taken the journal with us, you know, sort of as proof that someone was out there having completely lost their mind. But the rest of us agreed that stealing it would have made that guy even madder than he already was, and that he definitely would have ended up tracking us through the woods had we stolen it from him. But having heard that scream that echoed across the valley, I'm not sure that he could have got a... Dude, what is wrong with my head and my brain? And my lumbar. Do I use a chair at my desk at all anymore? It's behind me. Pradeep sometimes will lay on it, but yeah, sometimes I'll just kind of like plop into it and be like, oh, fuck. And then, you know, send a text and then get back up. Joel, help me. I'm keep getting married when I'm not looking. Bro, you gotta get that under control. You're gonna be paying child support to 15 baby daddies. but the rest of us agreed that stealing it would have made the guy even madder than he already was, and that he definitely would have ended up tracking us through the woods had we stolen from him. But having heard that scream that echoed across the valley, I'm not sure that he could have gotten any angrier at knowing his home had been disturbed. Even today, I thank God that he didn't track us down, and I try not to think about what would have happened should that man have found us. I stand up for 5 hours. I do, yeah. Once again, you get used to it, and I do have a pad down below me that I can shit on. That's like kind of like, soft for my feet and shit. But it's all good. I got strong legs. My fainting chair. Oh, Lord. Oh, heavens to Betsy, I've fallen ill. Fallen lightheaded. I feel so verbose. Do I shower in cologne? Yeah, I'm just covered in it. I don't even shower, I just take an Axe body spray and just douse myself till if I smoke a cigarette I could catch fire. House tour? Bro, I'm in prison. I need to do some fun shit though. Going to that Baltimore game was cool, and on my way there I heard a YouTube video where it was like, "Are you sad? Book a ticket." And I was like, that does make a lot of sense. Any cologne recommendations? I do actually have one that I wear. What's his name? Man, I'm such an idiot. Not an idiot, but my brain doesn't work. I think it's Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill always wore a specific cologne. And someone bought it for me and said, "This is what he wears." I'm like, cool. I guess I'm Winston Churchill now. You didn't hear a gunshot in Baltimore? No, it was like the way that we go, it's like we park at this one like hotel, like Marriott, or I don't even know what it is, like hotel parking deck. And then we walk through basically the inner harbor. And the inner harbor, I think during I don't know where specifically like any sort of danger is. You get some goofy people and shit, but for the most part, I feel like since it's all like touristy, downtowny sort of vibes, it's not like a high crime area, I suppose. Maybe at like 4 in the fucking morning, you could probably get a nice little robbery going, but I don't know. We didn't have any issues. You're wearing black opium. You ever use Axe Dark Temptation? Oh man. Axe was like all the rage post gym class back in like middle school. Everybody gets all fucking sweaty and just spritzes themselves down with that crap. You need vitamin C serum. I think I legitimately have some of that sitting over on a desk like off to my right. I think I ordered it because maybe you guys suggested it and I just never opened the serum. I don't really know how to use a serum. It sounds dangerous. What if I turn into a little unicorn? Tell you which one it is. Alright, 1 second. Let me go see. I think it's literally sitting. Oh wait, it's right here. Vitamin C 10% face serum with acetylglucosamine polyhydroxy acid plus centella. Enhance it. Minimalist. Is that a company, Minimalist? I don't even know why it's sitting literally right there. It's just kind of funny. have it. If I could throw it through the computer, I'd give it to you. Probably never gonna use it. Juliet Has a Gun, though, is probably my favorite actual perfume that's not Ragdoll. Dang. You know your scents. You know your stinks. I mean, honestly, perfumes can be called stinks, can't they? It's like a noun. My favorite. What stink does he wear? They should make a men's fragrance just called Paper Towel. Oh, you found it online? Yeah. I don't know if it's good. I legitimately have no idea. I don't even know why I have it. It's just in the box, unopened, on my computer desk. Like, am I supposed to jerk off with it? Like, what do I do? Alright, we're on story 3. Lamar Jackson wears women's perfume, I'm not lying. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't blame him. Can I be real? Women's perfume is fucking intoxicating. Like, actually, like, I fall under a spell when a girl has an amazing perfume that maybe she oversaturated herself with. I pass by her at the grocery store and my head literally turns to her and I float in the air like she's a fucking hot apple pie. And then I finally like come to that I shouldn't be just like drooling at the mouth right now. But it fucking works, man. Like I am like, it's like something deep within inside of me just wants to like shove my nose into a random person's neck and just be like, oh my fucking god, I'm gonna kill you. Like fruity vanilla musky. Probably, yeah, the fruity vanilla shit. Yeah. The fruit, yeah. I mean, musk stuff, I don't know, I guess that's more guy related, but yeah, fruity vanilla, like, it takes me back somewhere deep within my ancestral roots of being, you know, jerking off inside of a caveman's cave. What we were meant to do. Will I miss Twisted History? Yeah, for sure. I mean, what they created over there was amazing. Like, it really was, like, an amazing show. And, like, I felt like my voice and what kind of voice I did for it really was cool. Will they keep the episodes up? I don't know. I even heard somebody say that they were thinking about taking them down or something and then sending a firing squad to kill me. So, just kidding. No, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They can do whatever they want. It's up to them. It's their product, you know. And I respect it. Right now I'm saluting, just so we know. I've done an official salute. 3 jerk salute. All right. I grew up in small town Montana, and back when I was in my late teens, I used to work as a night the old guy Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. And then they just brought him back. Somebody brought up to me that the Jimmy Kimmel thing was just to distract from the fact that they were increasing the Disney Plus prices, so that when they brought him back, you like cheered for Disney or something, but in reality, they just ended up increasing your Disney Plus subscription fee. I feel like everything is just like a fucking conspiracy at all times. All right. Have you seen the Erica Kirk conspiracies? No, I haven't. What is it? Like she was aware that he was going to get shotted or something? Can't Can't someone's is working overtime on conspiracies. Yeah. I guess, I mean, if they're bringing back all the other people that got kicked off for like COVID-19 or election stuff, like, what does that mean? Does that mean they like have a lot more leniency on like TOS and stuff that people can talk about on YouTube now? Or like, what's the deal there? Are we gonna like see people start talking about like the moon folk again? I remember on my old channel I got banned off of YouTube talking about the moon folk. This was back in 2012. You guys don't remember the big mass amount of people that got kicked off of YouTube because of moon folk talk. But I think that's thrown in there as well. It's probably going to be one of the bigger things that they talk about during the congressional hearings. They're going to ask, the CEOs of Twitch, what the fuck the deal was with the censorship of the moon folk and the moon folk truthers such as myself. But our day has come. No, you don't want to hear. If I talk about moon folk right now, I don't know if it's in TOS. I don't know if it's TOS. I could get kicked off. I could be sent straight to Rumble. I could be sent straight to Peter Thiel's conspiracy harvest lab. He could cover me in aquifer and make me shiny like him. You can see full-on traumas and surgery on YouTube on professional channels. That's true. That was like one of my crossover channels with the Moonfolk thing. I would have surgery videos in the background just for B-roll. I grew up in a small penis. I grew up in small-town Montana, and back when I was in my late teens, I used to work as a night porter at some cabins in the mountains. Now, to clarify what that is, it was basic night watchman stuff, making sure everything ran nice and smoothly. And then every so often, I'd get someone calling at the office to check in late or ask a few questions. We just had a VHS player installed at the office so the night porters would be less tempted to take a nap. So I got into the habit of renting tapes before heading into work so I could watch movies all night. One night at around 1 a.m, I'm right in the middle of scaring the absolute penis off myself. Guys, pen 15 is a blocked word in chat. If you type pen 15, I'm sending the guards. Yeah, careful going down the rabbit hole of the moon folk, because you're not coming back the same. Pen 14 is fine. Oh, man. We just had a VHS player installed at the office so the night porters would be less tempted to take a nap. So I got into the habit of renting tapes before heading into work so I could watch movies all night. One night at around 1 a.m, I'm right in the middle of scaring the pants off myself watching the Hellraiser movie, if you remember that, when I hear something moving outside the office. The office had these 2 glass panel windows and a door with a glass panel on it too, so I could see out into the darkness. I just couldn't see who was moving around out there. Sometimes the city folks used to go stargazing, so it wasn't unusual to have people walking around later on at night. So when I first heard it, I didn't think much of it and I just carried on watching Hellraiser. Pinhead, Poophead. Everybody remembers Poophead from Hellraiser. Just a guy going like and like diarrhea shooting out of his eyeballs and mouth. And he can't talk because it's just like endless streams of shit out of all orifices. And penis head. We got penis head, poop head, pen 15 head. So when I first heard it, I didn't think much of it and I just kept watching Hellraiser. But then a minute later, I heard it again. That time, I heard it closer to the office, so I lowered the volume on the TV and listened through the silence. It didn't sound like human footsteps. It sounded like something creeping up on all fours, and it was getting closer. We used to keep a loaded gun in the cache safe for reasons you can probably guess, but it doubled as bear and mountain lion protection too. So the first thing I did upon realizing that there was something creeping up on the office was rush to that safe and grab that gun. I then crept out of the office and into the lobby, which consisted of nothing more than a desk, chair, and logbook along with those big glass windows. As I stared out into the darkness, looking for the source of that shuffling sound, I couldn't see a thing. I kept looking for the reflection of the thing's eyes, partly because Hey Jonah, what's up, bro? What is good? Do I floss my teeth? I do. I do that daily. Right before I shower, which I only do 3 times prior to Christmas. A girl made you cry in first grade for calling you a poop head. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been such a poop head. My tail feels off today. I don't know why it doesn't align with my cheeks. Does that mean there's you have a butt plug in or something? Do I floss my cheeks with a towel? I'm pretty thorough. Let's just say I'm pretty squeaky clean. Have all my past relationships ended amicably? They have, honestly. It's a little sad that it's not more dramatic. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just not a guy that gets worked up. It's just like either is or is not, you know what I mean? I'm a lover, yeah. We high five. Great. Dating. Good job. That was great. Just the tip of the bone to the left. Maybe I need a chiropractor fix. Oh, yeah, maybe. But I think if you have to get your coccyx adjusted from a chiropractor, they have to stick their finger up your butt. Just a heads up. I go in daily and they're like, Joel, you are fucking fine, bro. This is fine. I'm like, get in there, you fucker. Get in there and fix me. It hurts. I can't feel my tail. I can't feel my little monkey tail. I can't feel my coccyx. That was my Navy SEAL name, Coccyx, back in the day. Do you guys remember when I was in the Navy SEALs? I kept looking for the reflection of the thing's eyes, partly because I had the bejesus scared out of me on a previous occasion when a coyote turned and looked at me through the darkness and I almost pissed my pants. But even after grabbing a flashlight and shining it out into the darkness, I still couldn't see a damn thing. Then out of nowhere, a man rises up from the ground beneath the window, and I jump back and let out a yell. He had what looked like blood staining their mouth and chin, and there was reddy brown. What the fuck is shit? Do you have one hand in your pocket, another flicking a cigarette? One hand in my pocket, and the other. Am I able to read what's being read somewhere? No, it's, I guess, just over email, so it'd be hard to, share all that compilation of stuffs. I guess it wouldn't be that hard, but we wouldn't have the visuals here. Right here. Can you guys see my mouse? When I move my mouse over my guy's face, can you see the hand? Hey Joe, I saw one of your old videos and included a video with the person witness. I was wondering why you don't include clips that if the stories include a video with... I don't know. Okay, I was just curious about... I guess you had to tell me which which part it was, or maybe they didn't include it or something. I don't know. He had what looked like blood staining their mouth and chin, and there was reddy brown slime all down his shirt. He smeared a little on the window as he tried to steady himself, and then he collapsed back down into the ground. I knew that he must have been hurt in some way, so the first thing I did was run to the phone and dial 911. But then the dispatch lady wanted to know what was wrong with the guy, so I ran back to ask him. The dispatch person then must have assumed that it was alcohol related because she told me to ask the guy what he'd been drinking. I ran outside, asked him the questions, and all he'd do was just groan in response until I finally picked up on 2 words: number 9. Now I respond, Is that a drink or something? I don't know what you mean. But again, all he did was groan in pain. Now I ran back to the phone and told the lady what he'd said about number 9, but then it hit me. He wasn't talking about a drink. He was talking about cabin number 9. I ran back to the phone, made sure that there was an ambulance on the way, and then I ran all the way down to cabin number 9 to check it out. The front door was wide open, and there was more of that reddy brown vomit. Reddish. I feel like reddish is better than reddy. It sounds strange. Reddish brown. A reddish radish. A mud slobber. There's a mud slobber down at number 9. Reddit brown. Is Reddit even like a real website? Do you ever wonder that? Like, what even is Reddit? Do they even make any money at all? Did the Chinese just buy Reddit just to like have another piece of propaganda? Why do farts stink? I guess because you touch yourself at night or something, I don't know. What is it? It's like methane gas and poop. Probably because of the poop coming out of the ass. Maybe that's the part that makes it stink so bad. Reddit is very real. Do you think the coolest people on Earth are from Reddit? Like they like Reddit moderators are probably like the coolest ones. Like there's there's like Arthur Fonzarelli. He's up there at like number 9, and then above him is like a Reddit moderator. Someone asked how to become the campus alpha on your school's subreddit. And did you answer? I feel like you being a viewer of the stream, only you would be able to answer that for him. Redditors scare me. They remind me of the comic dude on The Simpsons. I mean, that's pretty much it. But with like fattier triceps. The front door was wide open, and there was more of that reddish-brown vomit on the step. But then inside, it looked like something out of a horror movie. There were 3 other people, 2 passed out on the couch and floor, and 1 standing on shaky legs over the sink. He was puking what looked like a mix of blood and something else in that sink. And then, when he heard me from behind, he says, "Help me, please," then kind of sank to the ground to stop himself from falling. Now obviously I'm asking what did you guys drink over and over, but all the guy could do was point towards the table as he carries on retching and gagging. And there were maybe half a dozen bottles of booze and drink strewn out on the cabin's kitchen and dining area. There was wine on the table. Death Stares is an interesting subreddit I started yesterday. What's that one about? My live streaming games. Also, what's your current go-to game? I mean, I still just play freaking Hearthstone Battlegrounds. And mainly I realized that it's just like an addiction to basically an addiction to slot machines. I'm honestly very thankful that I'm not like one of those people that just sit in like a slot machine shit at a gas station all day. I mean, it's quite a depressing thing to see how excited people get about that shit. The slop machine, yeah, every time you pull the lever, a bunch of gruel comes spewing out. You play online casinos, I would suggest you stop because I mean it's literally, I mean, unless, I guess if you're winning and you're playing, I mean I could see like maybe poker. I don't know, man, you got to be careful with that shit because obviously it's just like pit. You might as well just burn your money. Haven't been to Vegas? No, I think it'd be fun though. If you were athletic, what sport would you play? Racquetball. Pickleball. Do you hear about Moist being contacted by a couple in Australia who own an Alpha Black Lotus? What the hell's that? Alpha Black Lotus. Oh, is that Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, Magic the Gathering. What the fuck? Holy shit. Is Moist Critical really gonna spend $500,000 on a stupid ass card? Hey man, don't criticize my complete waste of money. That's between me and my ex-wife. Add 3 mana of any single color of your choice to your mana pool, then is discarded. Tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt. Oh, he helped them sell it. Oh, that's crazy, actually. That's nice of him to actually do that, though. There were maybe half a dozen bottles of liquor strewn about the cabin's kitchen and dining area. There was wine on the table and various other drinks on the countertop, and it looked like a big meal could have been eaten too. I started to realize that it wasn't just a case of one guy drinking too much. All 4 of them had the same reaction, meaning something they ate must have been really, really past its sell-by date, or they were sick with something that I might well have been in danger of catching as well. Now, I didn't have time to dwell on that part too much. I just made sure not to touch them or any of that puke, and then ran back to the office phone to report what I'd found, and in the end, it just was... Reddit sucks. Hey, man. Are you making fun of a bunch of fucking fat internet losers? That's so mean of you. Don't you dare ever tell any of us the truth. Ever. I don't want to hear it. I didn't have time to dwell on that last part too much. I just made sure not to touch them or any of that puke, and then I ran back to the office phone to report what I'd found. And in the end, it wasn't just one ambulance screeching up the path, it was 4. Once the paramedics were busy treating the folks in cabin number 9, I gave my boss a call at home to let him know what was going on. And he was there within the hour, and we joined the growing crowd of guests that were gathering around. He was there within the hour, and then we joined the growing crowd of various guests that were gathering around to stare at what was going on. The EMTs got all 4 sick people onto some stretchers, and then once they were securely in the back of the ambulance, it would speed back off down the track with its lights flashing, and then we'd hear it hit it. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. Oh, I feel like I could hear a siren in the back of my head. Why is everything in Australia poisonous? I guess because it's so cool and scary. Good question. Why is everything in Australia poisonous? Here's why. Geographical location. Australia split off from other land masses tens of millions of years ago. Its plants and animals evolved in isolation without bigger land predators like lions, wolves, or bears. Instead, many species developed chemical defenses, venoms, toxins, poisons as their main survival tools. Australia is hot, dry, and nutrient-poor in many places. That harsh favors tough, well-defended species. Plants often produce toxic compounds to deter grazers. Animals, in turn, evolve venom or stings to compete and survive in this rough environment. Without large mammals filling predator roles, reptiles, arachnids, and insects took over. Over millions of years, snakes, spiders, and jellyfish in Australia become some of the most venomous in the world. Not necessarily to kill humans, but to efficiently subdue their prey: fish, frogs, birds, frogs, dogs, smogs, and dogs. Australia is also famous for its public image of dangerous creatures. Yes, it has highly venomous snakes, box jellyfish, funnel-web spiders, blue-ringed octopi, and migglepusses. But the reality is fatal encounters are extremely rare, partly because Australians have strong awareness and medical treatment is widely available. You know, I was thinking too, I keep seeing like videos of crocodiles from like, you know, random Australian farmers and stuff going up to these crocodiles. And dude, I've seen big gators before, but holy shit, man. Like some of the fact that some of these people like casually go up to these absolute fucking monstrosities of crocodiles that exist in Australia, it like blows my mind, honestly. They are not afraid of them at all. And these things seem way more intelligent, way more aggressive than fucking gators, bro. A dingo ate my baby. Sir, that's a dinosaur. Someone has a lion as a pet for the... Oh, you know what I heard? Is that cheetahs are like the most domesticatable big cat that you could have. Is that true? Isn't that crazy? And they're like, in a weird way, they're like half dog, half cat. And so people think that the Anunnaki that existed in like the Egyptian times or whatever, the aliens like created them. Because apparently, well, you know what? We're going to look it up. Are cheetahs created by the Anunnaki? Thinking longer for a better answer. Okay, so this might actually have some credence. Anunnaki are myth, not a biological process. The Anunnaki are figures from ancient Mesopotamian mythology, later popularized in modern times by fringe writers as ancient astronauts. Mythology doesn't provide a mechanism to create animals. It's a cultural story, not empirical evidence. Whatever. Cheetahs have a clear natural history. Modern cheetahs, the whatevers, are members of the cat family and have a fossil record and genetic patterns that fit normal evolutionary processes. Ancestors in the field, lineage, adaptations, light frame, long legs, non-retractable. See, this is the interesting part. They have non-retractable claws that look like fucking dog paws. Like their paws look like dogs. And spine flexibility shaped by natural selection, pursuit, hunting for over 1 million years. Science uses fossils and DNA. Both point to the evolution. Paleontology and genetics trace cheetah ancestry, show when traits arose, and reveal population events. For example, cheetahs went through genetic bottlenecks in the past. None of that requires or supports an external alien creator. Whatever. Mike Tyson owned tigers back in the day. That's true, dude. He is a beast. Wonder if he still has them or if it would kill him. And then extraordinary claims and extraordinary evidence. Claims that extraterrestrials, engineered species, would require physical evidence, fossils, artifacts, reliable, dated, biological. What do they want? What, do you expect the aliens to leave behind a fucking handbook? None exists. Mainstream historians, biologists treat Anunnaki-created cheetahs as pseudoscience and fiction. It doesn't mean just because everyone believes something doesn't mean it's true. Maybe the thing that I just made up right now is kind of has some credence to it. All right, so, but let's think. Aren't all cheetahs clones? Question mark. You know what's annoying in the future is when you go to look something up, everyone's going to be using AI, and you're never actually going to be able to like scroll down and find any like unique information or sources on like, you know, search websites, because it's just going to tell you what to think. Scientists found that unrelated cheetahs will often accept skin grafts from one another, something most other mammals reject because their immune systems, MHC, are so similar. That discovery made headlines and fuels the clones idea. Genetic tests show low heterozygosity, not much genetic variation compared with other mammals. Low diversity makes cheetahs more vulnerable to disease, reproductive problems, and environmental change. It complicates conservation, so managers try to maximize genetic variety and breeding programs and protect wild populations. Yeah. So excited for Halloween Autumn Stories. Thank you, Patricia. Good to see you. Domestic cat is one of the most successful species in the world. The genetic has remained the same. Yeah, they figured it out long ago. Free rent. I honestly want a chimpanzee, but I don't want a chimpanzee like Travis, bro. That thing, it doesn't matter what kind of chimpanzee you get. It's like it's going to rip off your nose, your lips, your eyeballs, your ears, your penis and balls. Like, that's just guaranteed. All, like, if you go back through the statistics, everyone that's ever owned a chimp has had pretty much all of their external parts completely sheared from their body. Your goobies are gone, bro. Your goobies are absolutely done so. They're getting put into a fucking blender and gnawed on. Raccoons do that too? What? They take your goobies? Oh yeah, the 911 call is terrifying. Yeah, that's how Michael Jackson had to have plastic surgery. His fucking chimp fucked him up. Blanket. I think the chimp's name was Blanket. The EMTs got all 4 sick people onto stretchers, and then once they were securely in the back of an ambulance, it would speed off back down the track with its lights flashing, and then we'd hear it hit its siren as it reached the highway. When it all cleared out, my boss couldn't believe the mess that they made in cabin number 9. He said it smelled like blood in there, but there was vomit too, and it wasn't just blood. He wanted to know what the hell had happened, and when he got to the bottom of it, or as much of the bottom as there was to get to, this is what he told me. A lady from Washington State had organized a kind of reunion with some of her old friends, and she just so happened to pick our humble collection of cabins for that. And they all drove out there, happy as can be, bringing wine and food and gifts and all that, and then once they were there, the lady who organized the reunion poisoned their food, cut the phone line to the cabin, and then drove all the way back to Washington while her friends started vomiting and collapsing. That's all the cops knew at the time my boss spoke to them. They didn't know why she'd poisoned her old friends, only that she'd used a bunch of weed killer and rat poison, and if I hadn't called 911 when I did, they probably wouldn't have survived. If you like domesticate them and then quit feeding them in certain ways, they will attack you. Perfect. I don't need my goobies anyways. Monkey's name was Bubbles. Blanket was one of his sons. Oh, I always mix them up. Would you rather have a chimp pet or a Burmese python pet? What could go wrong? Damn, that's a good point. I feel like the python would be easier to contain. What's up, Jasmine? How goes it? What's good in the hood? Alright guys, we got one more story to go before the end of the stream. So I'm gonna go take my magnesium, and then I shall BRB. But please talk amongst yourselves. BRB. YouTube put your account in teen mode. Yeah, dude, what the fuck? Has anybody gone through that where it basically forces you to put your ID in there and collect your data? We promise, we're just going to give it to some random third party. They'll take care of it. Honestly, why the fuck is nobody suing, you know what I mean, over that kind of shit? Because you know for a fact it's going to be a breach of people's personal information, and then there's just going to be no anonymity online at fucking all. I should stream more often. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the ID verification is BS. Like, who gives a fuck what the stupid-ass UK does, you know? Oh, we're kind of a bunch of fucking idiots, so everybody has to be a bunch of fucking idiots. Jacob, thank you, and welcome to the Buttersock Call. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you. And Fry, thank you for linking that. Appreciate you. This is the full link work. It does. Nice. I thought this was America. I mean, like, honestly, though. You're British. Bro, tell your government that they are not nice people. Oh, you're just kidding. Okay. I have 200 megabytes of space on my phone, and my maps is making up 38 fucking G. Really? Gigabyte? 38? How do I free up that space? 38 gigabytes from the maps. That's crazy. Wait, what? I'm from the UK, and what are we IDing? Apparently, to get onto the internet, you have to, like, verify your age, depending on, I guess, the thing. I remember a couple people had said, who were friends from mine from the UK, had said that they had to basically verify their ID, or they just, like, don't go to the websites at all. You should pull more stories from different subreddits like T6. Love the content, though. Thank you, yeah. I guess it just depends on where we pull from. I'm not really sure. Clear the cache. Maybe that's all you need. Outside my windows. Come on in. But the weather's fine. Thanks, Curbs. Okay, we got one more story, guys. This is going to be a banger video. I can just feel it in my nards, in my goobies. Let's get it. Growing up, I always thought my grandfather was a very strange guy. He was always very generous with money, and apparently I was his favorite granddaughter, but he was also very cold and aloof with me whenever he came to visit. Mom and Dad said that was just his way. He grew up during the Great Depression, so he had a very tough childhood, and he dedicated his life to construction paper. And he dedicated his life to the construction company he founded, so while his business acumen was tip-top, his social skills were obviously very lacking. He lived to a ripe old age, left a very generous inheritance. He lived to a ripe old age and left a very generous amount of money when he passed, and then at his funeral, everyone had nothing but good words to say about him. But the next day, my dad asked me to take a seat in our room. Goddamn, I can't read. Do, 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 do. My goobies are moobying. Wonder if there's anyone, do you guys know anyone who, like, has seen every piece of media ever? You're like, have you seen Weapons? Or like, seen it. And you're like, have you seen Long Walk? Seen it. Have you seen every episode of Ozark? Seen it. Have you seen, just like there's not a single mother frickin' thing that they haven't seen. Your partner, your business partner. I don't know. I am kind of the opposite. I've seen fucking nothing. I've seen no things. I did see Weapons, though. It was good. Have you seen my dad? Seen him getting cigarettes and milk. He's lost on the highway. Have you seen the warmth of a woman? No. Seen her butt, though. Okay. But the next day, my dad asked me to take a seat in our living room with him and asked if he'd like to... God fucking damn it. But the next day, my dad asked me to take a seat in our living room with him and asked if I'd like to know the truth. The way he phrased it had me kind of scared at first because I thought that he was about to reveal some sort of dark family secret. But he laughed as he assured me that that was not the case at all. In fact, he wanted to tell me the story of Grandpa's upbringing and how he became to be the man that he is. I didn't know much outside of the whole Great Depression thing, and it sounded so sad that I never cared much to ask. Yet little did I know, there were parts of Grandpa's childhood that he forbade my parents from sharing ever with me. And it was hard to imagine what he might do that. Dude, I am just fucking delusional, bro. Kitty, where are you going? Come into my hut. Come into my hut. Into my yurk. There you go, good boy. Come on in. Come on. He gets to the threshold and then he just like... You have to force him in. Get in here, Genghis Khan. Imagine if there was a guy named Doofus Khan. That'd be so good. Come on. Get the fuck in here. God, he's just like doing a dance outside of my little tent, my teepee. He's just afraid. He's afraid of how comfy he's going to be in here. Now he's sniffing my leg. Come on. He has to be courted. Pradeep has to be courted to where he wants him. Otherwise, he's not going to beg. But then he does beg. You're night scootering? That's sick. Oh my god. It was hard to imagine why he might do that, if not to conceal something very shameful or immoral. But as my dad told me the story, it all became clear. So way back when the financial crap hit the fan and Grandpa was still just a kid, my great-grandpa moved his family out of Denver, Colorado, and up into the foothills of the Rockies. They picked out this spot of land, cut down all the trees, and then got to work building themselves a small log cabin for themselves to... They picked out this area of land, cut down all the trees, and then got to work building themselves a small log cabin for themselves to live in. Apparently it was just a stove, a chimney, and a couple of beds for them to share. Everything else was either outside or non-existent. They'd hunt, fish, laid traps to earn some fresh meat, and they had a small vegetable patch, and my great-grandpa would sometimes take dried meat and skins into Denver to actually trade for some simple luxuries. It was hard living, and they didn't get to enjoy Christmas or birthdays in the same way some other kids did, but they also didn't know any different, so while it was abject poverty, Grandpa had made some happy memories from that time in his life. At least, until the strangers came. Grandpa said they were having dinner when he heard a group of men outside calling his father out of the cabin. His father told his family to climb out of a back window and run for their lives, and then as they're running, Grandpa said that he could hear his father screaming in pain as... Oh my gosh, Pradeep. Ripping the shit out of stuff. Where is your sound, TP? I have a vision of creepy red velvet curtains in the middle of my kitchen. Man, you must have psychic visions, because that's exactly what I have. Except they're yellow, and they used to be white, and they're covered in piss. Oh, did you hear about the guy who peed during the Demon Slayer movie? He's been sitting there all day watching it. That's one movie I need to go see, is Demon Slayer. I haven't really watched like a single episode, but I think it'd be worth my time. Oh my god, why am I so tired? His father told his family to climb out of a back window and run for their lives, and then as they're running, Grandpa said that he could hear his father screaming in pain as the strangers broke into the cabin and murdered him. He said that he, his mom, and sisters wandered around the hills for a couple of days, barely eating or sleeping. Then when they returned to the cabin, his mom made him and his sister wait out in the woods almost a whole day while she buried their father and cleaned up the cabin. After that, and at the tender age of just 9 years old, he was the man of the house. He didn't go to school, he didn't get to play around like other kids. Grandpa worked to put food on their table every day of his life. By the time he was 13, he owned a mule named Chip, and he'd ride Chip into a little town called Evergreen to work for a construction company that was based there. That way, they were guaranteed some money to buy food, medicine, and all of that stuff instead of having to rely on what they could hunt and scrounge for. And when he wasn't at work, Grandpa was either fixing up the cabin or butchering game, while his mom cooked and his sister cleaned. He didn't have time or energy for anything else, and one of the things giving him the most trouble was the cabin's chimney. Birds like to nest in it during the summer, and since his father wasn't an expert builder, the construction itself was far from perfect. So while it needed a good yearly clean in early autumn to get it ready for the winter, the bricks seemed to get looser and looser with each passing. On the year of his 18th birthday, just as summer started going into fall, Grandpa got himself ready to clean that chimney. But this time, no sooner had he jammed the bush. Skadoosh. Are you guys still there? I've never seen Demon Slayer either, but my sister wanted to go see it, so I watched the last episode before seeing it, really enjoyed it, and now I'm going to start watching the show. Yeah, it's like I'm not like a huge anime fan in general, and wasn't like a huge fan of the episodes, but like, I don't know, I think seeing movies in theaters, especially anime shit, is kind of sweet. Have you seen Grave of the Fireflies? You know, I don't actually think I've seen Grave of the Fireflies, but I absolutely should. There's a channel on YouTube, Con TV. It's $5.99 a month, but oh my god, it's so worth it. Old school shows, indie movies, cheesy horror, sci-fi, gamer stuff. It's kind of amazing. Really, $5.99 a month on YouTube? Is it just like a members only thing? Just brushing my teeth and almost barfed. Wait, what happened? Deep throating the brush. It's depressing. Wait, the Demon Slayer movie is depressing. Damn. Okay. But this time, no sooner has he jammed the brush up there, but a brick comes tumbling down into the fireplace, sending soot and ash all over the place. Grandpa curses his bad luck and then starts trying to put the brick back into place, but he realizes something is sort of half sitting in its place. Grandpa thinks it's a dead bird or something and gets ready to cover his mouth and nose after dragging it out of the nook. But it's not any kind of dead thing that's blocking the brick from going firmly back into place. It's 3 cloth sacks, and in them are dozens of solid gold coins. Not even his mother knew why those men had shown up and killed his father, and that was partly what made it so terrifying and traumatic for them. But after finding those coins, it all suddenly made sense. No one knows if my great-grandpa stole them or there was someone out there who knew that he was up there in the hills with his stash of gold coins. He didn't even tell my great-grandma about them. But finding them up in that chimney changed their lives completely, and within a couple of years, they were living the good life in Denver after Grandpa started up a construction company all on his own. All his life, Grandpa remembered what it was like being so poor that they barely had a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So all he did was work, just like he'd always done, from dawn till dusk. Grave of the Fireflies. I do need to say that one. That's supposedly an absolute freaking classic. Do I ever cry? Yeah, I think I cry from time to time. I feel like it's been a little bit. If you have any problems sleeping, Joey, just listen to one of your videos. You know, that might do it. Is it a bit narcissistic to listen to myself while wearing leather? What makes me cry? I guess just being lonely kind of sucks. Sometimes I'm just like walking around, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Onions, yeah. Onions with acid on them. So all he did was work, just like he'd always done, from dawn till dusk, and for the sake of his family. And the reason he was always so strangely frosty with me, despite me being his favorite granddaughter who he showered with gifts on birthdays and Christmas, was because I reminded him of his little sister, the one he'd been so hungry while out in the woods after listening to their father's... What is it saying? My voice is tuning out. Is there a glitch? A Glinch? The Glinch stole Christmas. The barista girl makes him cry. I literally see her at the gym all the time, and I'm just like, dude, I wonder if she thinks I like followed her here. Asked her out there, and then fucking see her all, like literally we go to the gym at the same time all the time. What's the last movie you cried to? Probably Saving Private Ryan. I don't know what it is about that one, but that one hits me every time. She's a regular at the gym. Have you not noticed her before? Well, this was a different gym that I started at. I started going to just like my own, or like a completely separate one, just to get away from the business side of things. And so it's like more of like a public, or not like public, but you know what I mean, like conventional one with like bodybuilding machines and stuff. What does she even bench? I mean, that's a good fucking point. Like girls always like look sexy as fuck and have big butts and stuff, and it's like nobody ever asks them like what their max lifts are, you know? Like that's really kind of like the stipulation to get with me. Do I still like her? I mean, I guess I don't even know. I don't know. I mean, I look at her, I'm like, she's still good looking. But I guess there was like, whenever I asked her out at the cafe, it was because whenever she would like, we would make eye contact as she'd come over, she'd just like smile almost like she was like starting to laugh or something. So there was like a familiar energy, I guess. It was like I knew her or something from something. And then the laughter almost reminded me, like, you know, like whenever a friend starts to laugh because they think you're going to say something funny, or they already whatever. So that's why I even asked her out, was there was just a certain energy. So now when I see her at the gym, it's sort of just like she's got the typical like sort of guarded, cold look that doesn't look quite as like, I mean, she still looks hot, but it's just like, it's definitely a very guarded, like unsmiling, sort of cold look. Who's thicker, me or her? I'm fucking a dominant, thick beast out there. Iron Giant was the cartoon movie that made me tear up. Oh yeah, that one's tough. I actually don't know if I've even seen it. If I drink too much, I might cry almost to anything. A strange outcome, to be sure, but not too often. I guess, yeah, it amplifies all your emotions, you know. Makes people a sloppy, doppy mess. It sucks going to a gym, having every guy stop lifting and stare at you. Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty awkward. It's just so hard not to, like, look at people. Everyone's so fucking attractive. It's crazy. Do I like Latinas? Dude, who doesn't like Latinas? Who doesn't, bro? Honestly, everyone's so fucking hot. It's just crazy. You just look at everyone and you're like, what the fuck? You guys are doing awesome. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you and your big butts and beautiful faces. It's shitty going to a gym having yeah, right, yeah. That's why I hate gyms. I'm not here to socialize or be perceived. I mean, that's fair. But what if you do like a sick ass what if someone wants to bang you though? You know what I mean? Don't you want to be perceived to be bangable? As a dude. I mean, as a girl too. You know, I'm sure everybody wants to be sexy. I wouldn't go in a free weight room of the gym. It's a lot of dude bros. Oh yeah, for sure. You don't want to be perceived bangable? That's tough. I stare at every girl I see respectfully. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you're looking because, well, I mean, if you're straight, you're probably looking because it's like there's a general curiosity. It's like a mix of admiration, maybe jealousy, maybe just general curiosity too, with all sorts of little things. But straight up, strictly bangable. I respectfully stalk from a distance. I get these like little chameleon eyes, these chameleon glasses that let me see out the side of my peripheral vision, but I can stare directly at people. You love me, Cake? I love you too. Good to see you. I do the opposite. I make myself look as unapproachable as possible and people leave me the hell alone. I mean, I don't even really see people interacting at the gyms too much. You know, I don't ever see girls get talked to. I don't see like, I mean, I might see interactions here and there, but I very rarely see people like having like spur of the moment conversations out of nowhere, you know? And yeah, there's really, I don't understand why people shame people for looking. Like, it's so hard. Like, you're so hot. You're so fucking good looking. Every woman is so hot and good looking. It's so hard. I just drool like a fucking monster creature, you know? And I can't help it. And the reason he was all so strangely frosty with me, despite me being his favorite granddaughter who he'd showered with gifts on birthdays and Christmas, was because I reminded him of his little sister, the one he'd been so hungry with while out in the woods after listening to their father's dead screams. And after that, I lost all my resentment towards him. It wasn't much. I loved my grandpa and I accepted that he had a little thorniness. Hey, thanks, Cake. Appreciate you. I try my best to sound as spooky as possible. The girls in the locker room always look at me for being male. Yeah. Every time I go in there naked, they just stare at me. It's so frustrating. It wasn't much. I loved my grandpa and I accepted that he had a little thorniness about him. But after I learned why, I forgave him with all my heart. And I hope wherever he is, he feels both my understanding and my forgiveness. Rest in peace, Grandpa. I love you. Do 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 do. Yeah, sometimes my eyes just pop out of my head and my jaw drops and it hits the ground and my tongue unravels and I just start going like woo, 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 woo. I start banging on the table, howling. Feigned closeness is the worst. Objectify away whatever, but pretending you know me like a family member is terrifying. Who does that? You tell me they don't just awooga? They don't just awooga at you? Alright guys, we have read all the stories, and they have been read and consumed. Now we gotta read the outro. And it's gonna be so sick. You're gonna think of a funny joke, and imagine if your outro got immortalized forever. If my partner doesn't know Woog, I don't want them. Exactly, bro. Honestly, that was all the stories. 3.5 hours. We burned. What the helly? What the hecky? What the hecky-ante? What the fucky? Scary gym stalkers. I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow and create some situations. We won't see each other for 5 days. Is that how long it's gonna be? Let's see. Thursday. 2, 3. No, I'll be back Sunday. Spread love, peace, and ass cheeks. Alright, guys, think of something funny right now in your head and type it on the computer screen. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. I also have a true crime channel called Saturn Soul. All links down in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, what do we say? Don't adopt a pet chimp. That'd be good. Don't adopt a pet chimp. That was actually in a Hitler speech one time. That was something he really advocated for. Do not adopt a pet chimp. Hey, there's Audrey. What's up, Audrey? If you adopt a pet chimp, your life will be flipped upside down. Awooga. Okay, yeah. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, don't adopt a pet chimp. Alright, well, yeah, I mean, are we just gonna get out of here? Say your favorite gym teacher and English teacher are getting married. We'll do that one. We'll have some alternatives in there. That's a good point. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, your favorite gym teacher and your least favorite English teacher are getting married. I don't know. I like to imagine the English teacher nobody likes, but the gym teacher's the favorite. Oh, man. Yeah, let's go get a slice, guys. Let's go out in the town. Get a bowl. Get a burrito bowl. Damn. I don't even want to leave, but I guess we kind of have to. Anyways, I'm going to go get this up and edited over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access. And then I'm going to get it over on YouTube, same time, same place. Guys, if you can watch the video right when it comes out, 9 p.m. EST, that would be super helpful. And, yeah, and what else? Do you guys want to talk about anything else? Do you want me to yell about anything? I could yell. I honestly could yell about literally anything. Please, mister. Bizarre Bub, maybe next time. Yeah, maybe next time. I don't really feel like watching any spookies. I get too scared. Like, I actually get out of watching Bizarre Bub, and I'm like, there's fucking ghosts in my house. What's grinding my gears? I don't know, honestly. I mean, I wish people would be nice to each other. But at the same time, it's not like that's like a day-to-day. Well, I mean, it's just me dealing with business stuff, and the person that I had managing my gym is like such a fucking like astounding negligent moron. And I can't tell if he's negligent or nefarious. Like, it's like, we're still trying to figure that out. But yeah, I gave that person a lot of money to like make a community, and then I kind of wanted to be pretty hands off with it, and now I gotta like go in and within the span of a week, you know, turn this shit around. And things are already in, you know, starting off to a good spot, because at least we can keep this dipshit away from the fucking coffers. Yeah, I literally have to clean up his mess. It's kind of weird. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, if you ever start a business, don't put anybody who's like in a position of desperation into like a position of like absolute management. Like, you could make them you could give them a job, but just make sure you can fire them. Because honestly, like, the second people are like put into positions of desperation, they do some pretty fucking stupid shit. And they can justify it to themselves too as they do it, you know. But yeah. Have you played Mario Kart World? I haven't, no. Is it fun? I haven't played, I mean, the new Donkey Kong looked pretty good, but I don't even know what else is like left on the Switch. As no one has told you lately, I'm proud of you. You work hard and stay consistent. You deserve the world worth happiness. Thank you, Skrilla. I appreciate you. What is happiness? You know what I mean? What is it? What's the next step? What do you think? We got working out. Maybe I just gotta like lock in my diet, and like that's the next discipline thing. Absolutely lock into the diet with no processed carbohydrates anymore. How do I fix my controller stick drift? Just gonna keep yanking on it. Happiness is never having to leave your house. That's a solid point. Maybe I'm already happy and I have no idea. Maybe sometimes in life you just have to figure out the things that you do not want. I need to lock in my diet workout routine too. Yeah, I mean, the working out part is where you should start, and then just make like little steps, like determining, like counting your calories and shit with like MyFitnessPal. But you know, one step at a time. Yo, Joel, your video's been awesome. You're really one of the best YouTubers, man. Thank you, dude. Coochie Smith. Appreciate you. Sounds like depression. You know, I mean, no, I think sometimes whenever people give depression a word, like they give it a label, I think it means that they just dwell on it too much, and then it starts to become your identity. So my goal is, even though I describe things that someone might describe as unpreferable mentally, I'm just not going to give it a word. I'm not going to give it a name and ruminate on it, I guess, to that extent. Things will all fall into place with you. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I try to stay good, try to be good. Ask yourself this: are you happy when you don't compare your life to literally anyone else? If so, then you're happy. Don't compare myself. It's more just like advanced boredom. I need to like decrease my boredom. But I guess, yeah, if you're feeling sad, buy a ticket. Maybe I'll just go buy a ticket somewhere. Yeah, the rumination. Rumination is not good for sure. It's like you have the issue, it's presented in front of you, you can like crash out briefly, but then what's the game plan? What is the game plan to get free of this mess? Am I going through real life strain and from the gym? I am, honestly. It's real life strain of just like, one, having to like cover for somebody else's ass. Two, them not even like realizing or even acknowledging the extent in which I've helped them. Three, feeling completely betrayed by them and like what they've irresponsibly done. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just, I don't even know. Like, still making sense of the mess that they've made is like the weirdest thing. Hey, Dufflock, thank you for the 1, dude. I could get into arson. Believe me, the thoughts have passed my mind. I would never do that, though, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, some people fuck up like $10,000 in life. Like, you listen to some of these stories and like, oh, the Turkish, drug dealers beat the shit out of, Jeremy or whatever. And it's like because of 10 grand. And I'm just like, realistically, there's some people that lose their whole fucking life over like less money, but I'm not that I would ever do anything like that, but I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like some people genuinely do not know how good they have it. Focus on your health, but I have 4 jobs and work 120 hours a week and I forgot to take it. Oh man, that's a fucking lot of hours. Holy shit. Alright, well, anyways, I guess be praying for me, thinking about me in regard to that. Hopefully it will pass. It's weird when, it's like, it's strange to think like no good deed goes unpunished, as they say. You literally like give somebody money and hope that you can like make their dreams come true, and then they just they like, honestly, I just think that's how some people are. They're like in a pile of quicksand that's made of poop and shit and diarrhea, and then they hand you a branch, and they're like, hey, grab this branch. And I'm like, you're gonna pull me down in there, aren't you? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna pull us up. We're gonna get so far up. Or even you extend the branch down to them to help them out of it, and they just end up pulling you into the quicksand of like shit with them. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, some people are just like meant to be fucking like down in the dirt forever, and they will never mentally be able to like escape that, no matter how much you try to help them. And I think that's the biggest lesson, is just to like, sometimes it's fine to just like let people suffer. And that's probably the worst part about this, is realizing that I'm like gonna be like fucking gun shy to like ever genuinely assist someone in a contractual obligation ever again, especially business wise. But yeah, so no more negativity. Anyways, yeah, I'll get this up tomorrow on YouTube. Follow my Instagram at letsread.official. Otherwise, love you guys, appreciate you. I will be streaming probably this Sunday, which is the 28th. But I hope you have a great rest of your week, and yeah, be safe and try your best. We'll see you soon.